in the first couple segments about Ron DeSantis, and I'm going to bring up some things that I've been saving for his announcement that I hope the Trump campaign are tuning in today over at Mar-a-Lago and will hear. But this Ron DeSantis announcement is just the worst thing that the guy could have possibly done. But we'll get to all of it. Here we go.
It's the Steve King Show with Brian Craig.
I got a sneeze coming on just as the show started. All right, welcome everyone. My name is Brian Craig. Yes. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve King Show. And man, do we have a lot to talk about on the program today. We're going to talk here in the beginning, and I want to take a lot of calls on this, and this is the announcement of Ron DeSantis. And I'm here to tell you that Governor Ron DeSantis cannot win. He is unelectable forever in the state of Florida, and he cannot win the Republican nomination. And what he is doing is not only self-destructive, but it just really has. I'm so upset with Ron DeSantis for splitting the MAGA movement in the ways that he's done. But I'm going to go through some things that I've been waiting to go through until DeSantis made his announcement, because I was hoping that he would wise up. He would wise up. And I got news for you guys. Did he secretly sign that bill into law allowing him to run for president and stay governor? Have you seen any announcements about the signing of that bill? When did he sign it? He must have signed it if he's doing the announcement with Elon Musk today. So I'm going to get into a lot of things, and I hope that early this morning that we have some of the Mar-a-Lago Trump 2024 campaign crew tuning in, because there's a few things in Florida that are not going very well, people. And there's a few things here in Florida that, that are very visual, that if they are shown, will show that Ron DeSantis has neglected Florida. I'm going to get into that. Now, these are things that, for the most part, will only matter to Floridians. But if you cannot win the Florida primary and you're the sitting governor who was just reelected, you're in big trouble. And, in the latest poll, President Trump is 28 points ahead of Ron DeSantis in Florida. That's the Florida Atlantic University poll. And I'm going to go through a lot of other polls today on the program. I typically don't pay too much attention to polls, but what I look for in polls is the trend. So we're going to go through that in just a little bit. But here in the first segment, I want to talk about this Twitter Spaces Elon Musk thing. Now, I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk, all right? I think he's a pretty cool guy. And I have a lot of appreciation for him bringing the American manned space program back that Obama shut down. And I get up on my roof all the time to watch those SpaceX launches from Cape Canaveral, and I love doing it. I used to do that all the time as a kid. I do it now. There was a big launch the other day, but it was so cloudy I didn't even get up on the roof. I wouldn't have been able to see it. But, my house is directly, due south of the launch pads at Cape Canaveral. So if it's a clear sky, I've got a great view. And if you follow me on YouTube, you've probably seen a few videos I've made up on my roof watching the launches. So, and I got a lot of respect for Elon Musk, who is the wealthiest, who is the richest African American. And that is true. He is from South Africa. He's an American citizen now. That makes him African American. And he's the richest one. And I got a lot of respect for the guy. But what he's doing with Twitter, I don't see any conniving with Elon Musk with this announcement on Twitter Spaces with DeSantis today. It's a stupid decision on DeSantis' part, which I'll share with you. But I kind of get and support what Elon Musk is doing on that. I watched a little bit last night, something I've not watched, I don't know, ever. I watched a few minutes of the NBC Evening News with Lester Holt. I don't think I've watched the NBC Evening News since the day of Tom Brokaw. Really, I've not, but I caught it, and it seemed to me Lester Holt was in a panic that the mainstream television media are being bypassed by Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is trying to bring down the mainstream Operation Mockingbird media. And if you don't know what that is, just Google Operation Mockingbird and you'll get it. But Elon Musk is trying to bring down this corporate mainstream fake news media, and I'm all for that. You know, people are tired of their left-wing bias, their self-importance, their CIA connections, and everything else, okay? But what Elon Musk is doing is a pretty smart business decision on Twitter. He's trying to make Twitter the relevant place for politics. And Donald Trump did that in 2016 and then the years after that. But Ron DeSantis is making a terrible mistake making his announcement on Twitter Spaces. And I'll tell you why. I've used Twitter Spaces a couple times. I listened to Elon Musk. He did, when the Twitter files came out, Elon Musk did an amazing Twitter Spaces event, which I checked out. And I've listened to maybe one other thing on Twitter Spaces. But I don't use Twitter Spaces. A lot of people tell me I should. I'm doing so much. I don't have time to put into another platform. But Twitter Spaces, while there are a lot of people that go on Twitter Spaces, who are they? You know, Republican voters that you are going after, if you're Ron DeSantis, are older than the Democrat voters. The reason that Republican voters are older is because they're wiser, right? Younger people that don't know what's going on in the world tend to be Democrats because they're uninformed. Maybe stupid, but just uninformed. And the older crowd are not using Twitter Spaces. Now, more may do it today than typically would, but it'll be a one-time event. It's like the CNN town hall a couple weeks ago with President Trump. They had their highest ratings in years, 5 times their normal primetime ratings with Trump with that town hall, and now they're back down the tubes. People didn't stay. They went and checked it out and haven't gone back. That'll be the same thing with Twitter Spaces. And after, so many conservatives, because when President Trump was banned, so many conservatives abandoned Twitter. Now, many have gone back. I stayed on, and I hope you guys do. I'm on everything. But a lot of conservatives have left Twitter. They don't trust Twitter. They don't like Twitter still. But older people are not going to use Twitter Spaces. And so far as no-hold-barred questioning, typically what happens if you're on a high-profile Twitter Spaces event involving Elon Musk, when you go there, there'll be thousands of people there today. There could be tens of thousands. It's possible because it's a worldwide thing. But the people that ask questions, you'll see a lot of famous people right there. You'll see little icons with famous, well-known people. Typically, they're the ones that get to ask the questions. There aren't going to be very many average Joes that get to chime in and ask DeSantis a question. Like, you're not going to hear Loomer be allowed to ask him anything, right? Or, it'll be limited. And even a potentially hard question really won't be that difficult of a question for him. But to go on a platform that is really a niche platform and I'm talking about not Twitter, I'm talking about the Twitter Spaces on Twitter, just seems stupid. Now, I know he's got a whole bunch of interviews. I know he's got a primetime interview on Fox tonight. And I understand that. But if you look at everything that DeSantis has done, if you look at everything he's done in the last couple of months since that Soros brag grand jury nonsense, everything Ron DeSantis has done, every decision he has made has been the wrong decision or the wrong thing to do. He's worse than Hillary Clinton, I must tell you, when it comes to decision making. And the Twitter Spaces is a very, very bad one. All right, now we're going to take our first break. When we get back, I'm going to go through the latest polls and we'll talk about this. But the main theme here is not only is Ron DeSantis unelectable, he's unelectable forever. He's making a big mistake today. And we're seeing an announcement that is the beginning of the end of for a politician, a young politician's career. Now, he may be rich and get appointed to this board and that board and all these other boards, but he's making the biggest mistake of his life today. He's had several opportunities to stand up and do the right thing. He lied to us in Florida. He pretended to be MAGA. He said he wouldn't run against Trump, and he lied to us. He can't be trusted. He is unelectable forever. He cannot be elected as a dog catcher in the state of Florida. I'm telling you, he could not win his House seat if he were running for his House seat. He's that unpopular in Florida. So we'll take our break, come back, I'll get into the polls, and I got more on DeSantis we're going to get into as well. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Middleman Eye, your trusted eye practice for cataract surgery. Listen to this Google review.
Hey guys, welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. Liking the video helps spread the word about this channel. Oh, yeah. DeSantis is done. Now, you're all welcome to call in about DeSantis. I'm going to go through the polls, and then I got some ideas that the Trump campaign could do that would show what really an incompetent governor he is.
Have you been told that you have bone-on-bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions that include rehab and injections that can prevent you from having to have surgery or prolong the surgery. We've been in practice for 75 years in South Florida. You don't have to live with pain any longer. 754-222-6642.
Yes, I'm very pro-Trump. This is my coffee cup, if you guys.
6642.
Hi, it's Kate from Will For You. Your home remains your
Trump
best
2024, baby.
So why not jazz it up with new floors?
Oh, man.
Featuring kerosene waterproof LVT and engineered
Last night before bed, I did something really stupid. I ate something that I'm allergic to. It was unintentional. So I'm not feeling too well today. I had a very rough morning because I'm allergic to milk, and I thought I had drank lactate-free milk, and it obviously was not. And I'm feeling it. My stomach is so bloated. It's about 3 to 4 times its normal size. I am very, very sick this morning, and I had a hard time driving in. I almost called in sick today. Byron Donalds, yeah, he'd be a good Florida governor. My pick for Florida governor is Don Jr. I think Don Jr. would be the next great governor of Florida, but see, and when I go through, I'm going to go through the polls next, but after the bottom of the hour, I'm going to go through some things with DeSantis that are not going well in Florida, and there's something DeSantis could have done to bring Disney down, and he's too stupid to do it. He's just too in love with himself to see the world clearly now, you know. And I'm going to get into this because there's something about Disney here in Florida that is a terrible thing they're doing, and it's not the woke stuff. There's something else they're doing that is god awful, and it would break Disney. I'll get into that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. My wife got very, very good news from the doctor. Very good news. She's doing well.
Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Coming up on 19 minutes after the hour, it's the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about Ron DeSantis. I'm going to go through the polls right now, and after the bottom of the hour break, I'm going to share with you some things that the Trump campaign could show and do here in Florida that would show how incompetent of a governor Ron DeSantis is, including one thing with Disney that would break Disney today if attention was brought to this. And it's not their wokeness. There's something with Disney here in Florida that you wouldn't even care about the wokeness with what I'm going to share with you about Disney here in Florida. I'm going to get to that after the bottom of the hour. You know, some of these things I've been saving to see what DeSantis would do. And now we've seen it, so we're going to get into that. But first, I want to talk about my chiropractic physician, Dr. Philip Appleton. He is a miracle worker. You know, when I went to him most recently for my shoulder pain, I was in so much pain, I was almost in tears. And it was a Friday afternoon. I was going to go in on Saturday morning, and the pain was so bad. I got in the car, and of course, I didn't call ahead. I just drove over there. It was the end of the day on Friday, and he treated me with his laser away pain treatment. I woke up the next day pain-free in my shoulder, and the pain hasn't returned. It's absolutely amazing. And when Dr. Appleton came into the room, I said, Doc, I need all of your powers of miracle working today. And man, it's just amazing. You do not have to live with pain. Call Dr. Appleton and talk to him about his laser away pain treatment. You know, the laser away pain treatment is completely painless. There's no downtime, no drugs, no surgeries, and no injections. You don't want injections and pain pills. That doesn't fix anything. That just masks the pain. But you know, his laser away pain treatment works on so many different types of pain. Arthritis, which he rid me of, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical swelling, knee conditions, neck pain, back pain, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, that's a big one, rotary tears, herniated discs, and so much more. You don't have to live in pain. Call Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. He's online at AppletonChiro.com, AppletonChiro.com, and his number 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. All right, so first I want to go through these polls. And as I was saying in the first segment, I'm not a big poll guy. But what I look for in polls is the trend, the direction that things are going in. And a lot of people say, well, Trump's not electable. Well, maybe not to you because you hate the guy for some strange reason. I don't understand. He just wants to make America great again and keep it great. I don't understand. But no, he not only is Trump electable, he is the only Republican that is. And these polls are absolutely amazing. And these are the most recent polls. And, you know, DeSantis is so far behind. Having a little Twitter Spaces and going on Fox tonight in prime time, you're not going to be able to get. He may get a little bit of a bump because we're going to have a few days of Ron DeSantis infomercials, okay, in the news cycle. So he may get a little bit of a bump, but he needs more than a bump. He needs, like, yeah, help that is beyond imagination. So let me go through these. Now, all these polls are on Real Clear Politics. You can go and look them up yourself. This is the Harvard-Harris poll, and this is nationwide for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. Trump is at 58. DeSantis is at 16. That gives Trump a 42-point lead. You know, one of the reasons for this is not just that Trump is much more popular than these leftist and never-Trumpers and the uniparty Republican establishment want you to know. Things are so bad in the country, Trump's the only one who can fix it. So in the National Republican presidential poll, Trump has a 42-point lead over Ron DeSantis. He's also ahead of Biden in these polls, but I'm just going to stick to DeSantis right now. Okay, let's see here. Let me find some of the others. Okay, so here's another poll. This is the Reuters poll. Now, in the first poll, you know, President Trump has a massive lead. Listen to this. Oh, no, let me do the Rasmussen. Oh, my goodness. There's so many polls. I didn't realize how many polls I had here. The 2024 Republican presidential nomination, a national poll, Rasmussen, Trump at 62, DeSantis at 17. President Trump has a 45-point lead in the latest Rasmussen poll over DeSantis. A 45-point lead. Whatever bump he gets with the Twitter Spaces, is it going to make up that difference? I don't think so. The Reuters poll, nationwide 2024 Republican presidential nomination. President Trump at 49, DeSantis at 21, giving Trump a 28-point lead. The only one where he's even within visual sighting is the Georgia poll, and this is a landmark communications poll, which is a never Trumper poll. But anyway, even Trump's ahead in that. Trump at 40, DeSantis at 32. Trump has an 8-point lead in the Georgia poll. This is the TIPP poll, 2024 Republican presidential primary. Trump at 55, DeSantis at 17, giving Trump a 38-point lead. In Kentucky, the Fox poll out of Kentucky, DeSantis at 14, Trump at 70, giving President Trump a 56-point lead. The American Greatness poll out of Iowa, Trump at 44, DeSantis at 26, with an 18-point lead. And in Florida, President Trump has a 28-point lead in the latest poll, which is from Florida Atlantic University. These numbers, there would have to be a major sabotage of the Trump campaign on its own. An arrest wouldn't do it. I know they're talking about arresting him on the documents and all this stuff with the special counsel and the gag order with the Stormy Daniels and all of that. Those things make Trump stronger and more popular because it looks like what it is, right? Trumped up charges against Trump to try to stop him because he's so popular. But you look at the trend in these polls, how could Ron DeSantis overcome that against Trump? He couldn't. It is hopeless. What he is doing today is hopeless. Now, when we get back, I'm going to talk about some of the things that are going wrong in Florida, and I'm going to point out something that Disney is doing here in Florida that Ron DeSantis is too in love with himself to see where he could actually beat Disney. And I'm going to share that with you when we get back. I want to hear your thoughts, by the way, on the DeSantis announcement. Again, I know he's going to get a bump today, but he's not going to get a bump to catch up to Trump with a 45-point lead, a 28-point lead. Whatever poll you're looking at, it's a double-digit lead, except one, and it's at 8. Within the margin of error, that's a double-digit poll. But I certainly would like to hear your thoughts on the DeSantis announcement today. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening to us. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video.
Very soupy and swampy outside. Humidity after downpours again last night. Today we have the possibility of some heavy rains moving through again, mainly in the late afternoon and evening hours as that low pressure continues to really stay stalled and spinning over the Gulf and only slowly moving close to the peninsula. I'm WPBF 25
Well,
This Morning
he's ending his political career. There's no doubt about it. Well, thank you, Bruce. I don't follow the polls. I follow the trend with the polls. You know, I follow the trend with the polls. And these polling organizations, a lot of them really hate Trump, and he's still double digits in them. When you look at the trend is what you got to look at, not the actual numbers. But the question is DeSantis too in love with himself and think that he can win, or is it just a money grab? Now, don't forget, guys, get your Trump portrait. Oh, man, this incredible. I know some of you have it already. I have 2 of them. They are beautiful. And I put the link right there, pinned in the chat. You can see it right there, pinned, patrioticprintsusa.com. That's prints with an S, patrioticprintsusa.com. It's a beautiful print. It makes a great Father's Day gift. And they're very affordable. This is the largest one. Let me see. I'll tell you the prices. Let's see here. You click the link. It's got the prices right there. This is the biggest one. This is the 16 by 20. Let me see if I can find the price. Let's see. Because they come in, this is the larger one. Hold on, let me see. My internet connection is not too good. Yeah, this one here is $54.99. This is the biggest one. $54.99 for the biggest one. Pretty good deal, huh? And it makes a great Father's Day gift. Now there's also a 13 by 19 and an 11 by 14, which are lower in price. But the biggest one is just $55. Pretty good deal. Great for Father's Day. Great manga company. And of course, you're supporting our radio station and all my content when you buy one. And also, a portion of each print sold is donated directly to President Trump's 2024 re-election campaign. So click that link, check it out, and get it for Father's Day. I know, they're beautiful. No, Michael Israel, very well-known artist here, painted it.
Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help them with.
Any joint I can do, shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up through the neck.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser away pain system, there's no injections, no surgery, no drugs. He's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio. Brian Craig here. Are you looking for a reliable scooter sales and repair shop? Look no further than Anything Scooters. When my scooter broke down, Anything Scooters took care of everything for me and had me back out on the road in no time. At a great price, too. They have a huge inventory of scooters for sale, both new and used. They offer financing. They also accept trade-ins on all new and used scooter purchases. So don't let that old scooter gather dust in the garage. Trade it in and get a great deal on a new ride. If you're looking to upgrade your scooter's performance, they've got you covered. Their expert technicians can handle anything from simple oil changes to engine rebuilds, even high-performance modifications. At Anything Scooters, they use only top-quality oils and replacement parts to ensure that your scooter runs like it should. They're very friendly and they have great customer service. Visit anythingscooters.com or give them a call directly. 954-226-8710. 954-226-8710.
Just taking a break during the break, guys, because I thought that milk was okay, but I am so sick. I'm allergic to milk and bananas. A couple of things too, but milk and bananas, I am so allergic to. And I like milk and I love bananas, but if I eat a banana or drink regular milk, it's not good. And I did not realize that I was drinking regular milk, so I'm paying for it. But I got 2.5 hours to go. I'll get through it. Then I got to go home. I know, it's rough. White people problems.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, welcome, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. We're talking about Ron DeSantis, and I just went through the polls. I'll take some calls, and then I'll get into some other things that I've been holding off on until Ron DeSantis made his announcement, and it looks like we're there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey, Sanford, Florida. What's up?
Well, first of all, it's happy to hear that Kathy got good news.
Oh, yeah, my wife got very good news at the doctor yesterday. Yes.
And I'm wondering, how soon will the polls come out with Scott and DeSantis in the race? When can we expect?
Probably Monday.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it would be the next day or...
It's not going to help because, you know what, listen, when the polls that are being done are of I know there's some crossover states, but in most states you can only vote for the party in the primary that you're registered with. So the polls of Republicans are mostly what we're going to see. And what's happened is there's two types of Republicans. There's MAGA Republicans like me and you and smart people, and then there's these never-Trumper Republicans. So DeSantis, Scott, Haley, Chris, all these other ones are splitting the never-Trumper vote. So it's not going to help DeSantis. He's going to get a little bit of a bump because of the infomercial news with him over the next few days through the weekend, but it's not going to be enough.
Oh, but I agree with you. He's making a big mistake. I mean, he's getting bad advice. That's all I can say.
Well, the question is, does he know he is unelectable forever, or is it a money grab? I think he thinks he can win it because he's very full of himself, and he's got his wife whispering in his ear doing her First Lady cosplay thing.
Oh, I have one other thing. When will the contributions, because they have to file every so many months as a presidential candidate, we'll find out who the donors are for DeSantis.
Oh, I can't wait. That'll be beautiful.
Oh God, I can't wait either.
but still, you're here. You are. You're in Florida. I have not seen anything about DeSantis signing that bill into law, allowing him to stay governor and run for president. So did he sign it and they've kept it secret for these few weeks?
Maybe that's part of his announcement. I don't know. But yeah, he has to sign that. I mean, that's self-serving. I mean, that's
I would think he's got to sign it.
For him, as far as I'm concerned.
He's got to sign it before he announces, and if he signed it and they've kept it secret for a couple weeks, that would be shocking to me. But is he going to sign it today before he talks to Elon Musk? You know, what do you think about this Twitter Spaces thing? I think it's a really dumb idea.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea, but we'll see what happens.
All right.
Musk is going to do whatever he wants to do, or whatever he thinks is best. I don't think he's a nasty person. I don't think you're going to hear any real negativity about Trump from
Elon Musk. No, Elon Musk wants to be friendly with everyone that's running for president because of his space program. You know, that's a government contract. Hey, all right, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. It's Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I'm glad Kathy's going to be okay.
Yes, thank you.
Listen, here's the deal. I listened to Dvorkian, doctor, you know, the guy that was
Kevorkian, that's the...
you know, the other one, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
I don't, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, he said that basically one of the biggest donors to Trump backed Obama. How do you like that one?
Yes, I've heard that too.
So he's in back of him. So what would you think? I mean, what would it tell you about DeSantis? And they're gonna go and they're gonna try to make this guy look like a quiet boy. They're banking on the rest of the country listening to the reputation that we've had down here that he's been such a successful governor. And that's what they're going to do. You're going to see infomercials. You're going to see all this crap. And I'm kind of a little nervous, and I'll tell you why. Obama was way behind Hillary, by the same amount of money, same amount of points in every poll at this particular time, and Hillary lost the election.
Yeah.
They're going to try to sabotage President Trump. They're going to try to make him look terrible.
Well, yeah, I understand. They're always going to do that. But anything, see, this is what they don't understand. Like this, you know, I'll tell you what I'm expecting. You know, they got this ridiculous gag order on the skanky, or I'm sorry, I keep misspeaking, Stormy Daniels. You know, so Ron DeSantis in a debate can ask President Trump about Stormy Daniels and he's not allowed to respond. Are you kidding me? I mean, he'll violate the gag order.
And he won't care. And there'll be outrage if this particular idiotic judge from New York City, the bastion of liberalism, okay? I mean, come on. My concern, like I said, my concern is you're gonna see a Hollywood presentation of DeSantis, and you're gonna see negativity about Ron Trump on a regular basis. They're gonna try to sway the American people.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. People people better wake up and realize that this is a fraud.
Well, anything anything they do to Trump, whether it's an arrest in this document case, is only going to make him more popular. Hey, Richie, I appreciate the call. All right, one more call, then got some more. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, and first of all, praise the Lord for the great report for Kathy.
Oh, yeah, it was great news.
Yep. And second, Ron DeSantis sold himself out for money, and they're promising him something to try to take down Trump. Not only are the Democrats, but the rhinos are desperate because Trump is going to expose them all for all the things they've done to him since 2015. And you know what's going to hit the fan, and we're going to see how corrupt our government is, because there is no way they can.
We've already seen how corrupt. What are your thoughts, though, on Ron DeSantis doing this bizarre announcement on the Twitter Spaces? Seems stupid to me. That's for kids.
Well, this gag order, I think it's a setup by them, because in a debate, if he is asked about it, he's going to respond, and they're going to go, oh, he's breaking the law. It's just pathetic what they're trying to do.
I know. Everything they do is some scheme. Hey, Jeff, appreciate the call. Great calls today, by the way. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, Ron DeSantis keeps making mistake after mistake after mistake. This whole thing with Twitter Spaces is just another one of these mistakes. You know, why would you make your announcement over Twitter Spaces when you have your own media, you can make your
yeah.
You can go on Fox and make your announcement.
And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, he Trump. He's on the Twitter. Trump's not on Twitter. Trump can be on Twitter if he wants. He's got his own thing. I would not be surprised if Tucker Carlson, when he debuts his show on Twitter, his first guest is President Trump.
No doubt. That's the thing. I mean, that may be a way for Trump to say, okay, Tucker's invited me on Twitter. I'm going to go back on Twitter. You know?
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen. All right, Mike. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I hope it'll drive. I want Trump back on Twitter and Truth. I love him on Twitter, and I hope this drives him back. We had one of these seminar Never Trumper callers yesterday who said something, and after the show I looked it up and got the truth on it. Someone called in and slandered the president yesterday, President Trump, and they were talking about gays and marriage and stuff, and I was talking about that. They said that President Trump allowed a transgendered man in the Miss Universe pageant. Well, that's not exactly what happened, and you guys can look this up on your own. The Miss Universe pageant, when President Trump owned it, only allowed, as crazy as this is, women to be in the Miss Universe pageant. And, you know, Miss Universe has different pageants in every country to crown their Miss Universe to go to the big international thing. In Canada, Canadian law required the Miss Universe Canada in their Canadian competition to allow a trans man, kind of like Trans Am with an M added. Canadian law required Miss Universe Canada to let a man participate. So he did. And you know what? He lost. So the caller that called yesterday that said, Donald Trump allowed. No, it was not Donald Trump. It was the Canadian law made them do it. So that's a little different than what the caller said. All right. Now we're going to take our last break of the first hour. Your calls are certainly welcome. We're talking about Ron DeSantis, who is unelectable forever. Double digits behind in every poll pretty much. There's not a single poll where he's ahead of Trump. He's double digits behind in all the major polls. There's one poll he's only 8 points behind, but within the margin of error, that's double digits too. So by that factor, he's double digits behind Trump in every poll, including Florida, where he's 28 points behind President Trump in Florida. And I noticed that the Florida poll, I don't hear anybody in the media talking about the Florida poll, do you? So when we get back, we're going to talk more about Ron DeSantis. Your calls are welcome at 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens.
I gotta say Stormy so people know who I'm talking about.
In South Florida. The Cohen family started their first health food store in 1972, and ever since have been one of the largest locally owned, family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathics, diet and fitness, and so much more. All your favorite top-quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic, as well as health and beauty aids, pet foods, and more. Visit Vanessa, Trish, Dunson, Scott, and Bruce. They're here 7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PGA Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377.
There's no recall system in Florida.
4377, or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World, Palm Beach Gardens.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big...
I'm a joke.
Go to any lab test now in Boca.
You said many times you supported DeSantis. I supported DeSantis until he showed that he was a Benedict Arnold. You know, Benedict Arnold was a general in Washington's army, one of George Washington's best friends.
They even have drug testing and
You know, when somebody betrays you, you don't support him anymore, right? And so far as if I'm a joke, Daniel, call me on the air and call me out. Let's see who's the joke is, Daniel.
on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Craig here. Do you admire Donald Trump, the greatest president ever, as much as I do? Then I've got just the thing for you. A spectacular print of Donald Trump that's hanging proudly in my home. This
Yep.
artwork comes from the paintbrush of Michael Israel.
Yeah, I take calls live on the air here. If you think I'm a joke, you take issue, you can call me up anytime.
Is 16 by 12, and this is a must-have for every patriotic MAGA American. But that's not all. A portion of each sale goes directly to President Trump's re-election campaign. It makes a great gift, too. Visit patrioticprintsusa.com. That's patrioticprintsusa.com. And let's make America great again. patrioticprintsusa.com. How would you like to lose...
Oh, now they're all silent in there, Daniel.
Better about yourself. Brian Craig here with a great new message from Elegant Youth. Their new
I guess Mommy called from the other room.
boost energy levels, suppresses appetite,
Why aren't you at work? Why don't you have a job?
and promotes rapid weight loss. Elegant Youth is in the Sandalwood Plaza, right next to any lab test now of Boca. Give them a call right now. 561-717-8081. 561-717-8081. Online at elegantyouthboca.com.
La Bamba Restaurant, a family-owned, authentic Mexican restaurant for 33 years. Come on in for a delicious taco salad, steak quesadilla, or a cold margarita. La Bamba is located at 730 U.S. Highway 1 in North Palm Beach. Check out labamba123.com.
Join us for Moments of Scripture, hosted by Jan Coleman every Sunday morning from 6 to 6:30 a.m. We will read the Bible, pray, and offer blessings to all who listen in the name of our Lord and Savior. Moments of Scripture every Sunday at 6 a.m.
Take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm going to go through the polls that have President Trump against DeSantis, with DeSantis in double-digit, falling behind Trump in every single poll. I think I'm going to go through those polls every hour on the show today. I think people need to hear them. I mean, it's a joke. We'll go to the calls in a moment, but first I want to tell everyone about this free home security system and free doorbell camera offer with professional installation from Sloman's. You've seen that story in the news of that accident that was caught in the front of someone's house on their doorbell camera? It's amazing. You're going to have that same type of view right in the palm of your hand on your phone when you get that doorbell camera from Sloman's. Now listen, if you're one of the first 40 listeners who call 1-833-283-5050, 1-833-283-5050, you'll get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone, all right, with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. But that's not all. Sloman's, they're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They're going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 armed doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 listeners to call 833-283-5050, 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Now, this is a limited time offer, so call them right now, 1-833-283-5050. All right, We're talking about Ron DeSantis. Back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Cynthia Lucas from Martin County Tea Party.
Hey.
I wanted to tell you that Ron DeSantis came into office with $500,000. That was his net worth. Now, I want you to just think what he did in 4 years. Yeah, woke. First of all, every developer, okay, is in Tallahassee. We have more growth than we know what to do with. I talked to a political consultant the other day and somebody else high up who was disgusted. Their quote, DeSantis has ruined Florida. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, we have a horrible water problem. Our drainage is ridiculous. Where is the water going to go? All this building is terrible. The low impact, the low local act, low affordable housing act, gives 30 years tax, no taxes for the developers. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the Chamber of Commerce. We may have done the E-Verify bill, but I sat on Floridians for illegal immigration. That's a bunch of crap. The illegals are coming here, and they're staying here, and the people that are going to be living in them is going to be the illegals.
That's right. You know, Florida is people think it's beaches and Disney World, but this is a big agricultural state, and there are illegals throughout Florida working in our orange groves and our sugarcane fields and everything else, and Ron DeSantis is aware of this.
You know what? In the old days, they brought them in. They came into a visa program. They housed them. The kids went to school. They packed them up. They went back.
That's right.
Now
they stay.
Great. Yes, this is a disgrace. And everybody better wake up in Florida because we're being played, and I'm sorry to say this, but we're being played by the Florida Republican Party, too. And I'm all for getting people on the Republican Executive Committee, but if you do not know the rules, and I've been there for 22 years, if you do not know the rules from the RPOF, they're the one that sets the rules for everybody down on the bottom in the REC. Now, let me explain that to you.
Well, don't get too deep into it. I don't want to put the radio listeners to sleep, but so
this is important. Suppose the Republican Club asked you to come and speak. They would have to ask the chairman of the party if it was okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you're through MAGA, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Great day.
All right, take care. Yeah, and the Republican Executive Committee, they do things where if you vote yes, it means no, and if you vote no, it means yes. And then they put these weird things out, and people don't know what they're voting for. The Republican Party of Florida is pretty corrupt. But hey, listen, Jeb's a top guy in it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Sean, California. Can you play this time?
I can.
Awesome. I'm not going to try to put what you're doing on blast, but I am going to put out a little bit of word I heard here, and this is kind of why DeSantis is getting this push. There's a certain group of interests, we might call them Halliburton. Little birdies told me that they want to pick up the petrochemical Ukraine once everything stabilizes. And those folks in Halliburton have a certain ties to a certain family that has endorsed DeSantis. So they're going to push.
Well, I don't know about Halliburton, but I know that the Bush family are behind him. And the Bush family lied about weapons of mass destruction with Dick Cheney. They're war criminals, and I don't know how. Every time I see one of those Wounded Warrior commercials on TV, where there's a guy whose body is melted or he's a stump because his limbs have all been blown off, I think of George Bush. And then George Bush does something really sick every year. He likes to invite people, men that don't have feet or legs or other body parts, to come and jog with him. You know what I mean? After his, the Bush family are terrible people, man.
Agreed. And, the thing that we have to consider, Brian, is that the hanging Chad machines of Diebel.
All right. Well, you guys know. Okay. Now, I will tell you this. I want to focus on what's going on now. I don't want to be talking about the Bushes and all that stuff too much because there's too much going on with DeSantis. So let me tell you a couple things here. And, Ron DeSantis, even Carrie Lake said it. Hold on, I got a clip of Carrie Lake yesterday. She was on Newsmax. Let me see if I got this queued up. Carrie Lake was on, what show was it? She was on with Eric Bolling yesterday. on Newsmax. Did any of you guys catch this? And this is Carrie Lake saying something that I've said many times.
When you pick a fight with Disney, you need to play to win. And so far, Governor DeSantis has been outworked and outmaneuvered by Disney. As far as I know, Reedy Creek still exists. They're still hosting trans events at their park. This indoctrination is continuing, and they're actually rubbing it in the faces of American families. You know, if you can't beat Donald Duck, how are you going to beat Donald Trump? I think that's the question we have to ask when it comes to Governor DeSantis. And
wow, yeah, I like that. I like that. If you can't beat Donald Duck, how are you going to beat Donald Trump? That's a very good question, Carrie Lake. Oh, my goodness. Now, I'll tell you this. Ron DeSantis, it's good. But you know what? That's not just a talking point or a punchline. That's true. Ron DeSantis lost big time to Disney. In fact, Disney has more control over their area than they've ever had. But if Ron DeSantis were more in touch with what's really going on as opposed to running for president, there's a way to bring Disney down, and I'll tell you what it is. And it's a very sad and tragic thing. And those of you that are Floridians will know what I'm talking about. Kissimmee, Florida, which is the little town next to Walt Disney World, it used to be a big bustling town. Now it's like Route 66. All the highways have bypassed it. And back in the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, there were very nice, if you went to Disney World, you stayed in the hotels there. But now it's an abandoned road, and all the hotels are roach motels, and they're terrible things. This is how you beat Disney. There are things going on with Disney workers that are inhumane. Inhumane. You know, that caller from the Tea Party in MAGA Martin County was talking about the migrants being housed in government housing. The illegals have better housing than Disney employees. These old rundown hotels, many of them are condemned, okay, and they're not even open, have Disney workers that work in the theme parks living in them with their families. And it's terrible. There are Disney workers that are living in their cars. And these motels on International Drive in Kissimmee, you guys know, if you drive down International Drive in Kissimmee, you know the conditions. There are people that work at Disney. I don't mean a few, I mean hundreds, maybe even a few thousand. But they live in these condemned motels that you would be terrified in with their children. It is living conditions so inhumane, it is a national embarrassment. And if Ron DeSantis went over there and showed the conditions, the American people would turn against Disney on a dime. And anyone who's up in that area, I bet our caller from Sanford knows exactly what I'm talking about. The conditions they are living in are so sick, sad. They're third world-like conditions. I mean hardcore third world-like conditions. There was one instance in one of these motels where the electricity got shut off, and there's a couple hundred people, many of them Disney employees, living there. And these Disney employees that are living in this condemned building, they went out to the parking lot and put in whatever change they had, enough money to pay the electric bill for another month. You know, there's hunger and things going on there that are so bad you don't even want to know about it. And if Ron DeSantis made that public, Disney would be done. Done. It's women, it's children, and it's awful. International Drive in Kissimmee. And there are many Disney employees that are living in their cars. Some of them sleep in the parking lot at Disney in their cars. I mean, there's so much homelessness going on with the people that work there. But Ron DeSantis is not politically sophisticated enough to see something like that. I don't even know if he knows about it. I don't know how. Everyone in Florida knows. It's an embarrassment. You know, people are living in conditions. I mean, you know, I was over in Belgrade about a year and a half ago. Oh my goodness, I'd not been to Belgrade for many years. I didn't get out of my car. It was so scary. And the conditions that people are living in Belgrade, which is within the listening range of our radio station, many of them, Americans should not live under those conditions. But they are. The Disney employees are living in some of the worst conditions in America. And Ron DeSantis could collapse it. Disney would do whatever it is they have to do if that went public. If people knew the hunger among the cast members that are working in these theme parks that they're charging hundreds of dollars a person to get into, Disney would be done. But DeSantis doesn't even see that because he's an amateur. We'll take our break and be right back.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
Oh yeah, you can see some of the conditions if you look online. It's terrible, terrible. There was a movie came out a few years ago that's kind of about that, but it's worse than what it is even in that. It's called The Florida Project. William Dafoe is in it. And it's much worse than that movie depicts, the conditions people are living in. You can find some videos online. Don't do it after I go off the air. But you don't want to. The conditions that these Disney employees work in or live in is so bad you don't want to know. It's some of the worst third world-like conditions right here in Ron DeSantis' Florida. And I don't even think he knows about it. That would be such a PR disaster for Disney. They would do whatever they had to do to save their reputations if people saw that the conditions. And DeSantis could do that. Not only could he do it, he could fix it, but too busy with his Trump hate and with Jeb and GW and Paul Ryan and all these jerks. He's really just abandoned Florida. He used us to get elected and reelected, so he's got that status. Mm-hmm. Oh, Uvalde was a year ago? It seems longer to me, Uvalde, doesn't it? Oh, my goodness. Ugh. It's our top of the hour break. We'll be back shortly. I'll take some more calls. Got some more stuff on DeSantis.
Doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. Wish I had them for everyone, but the first 40 true oldies.
Oh man, rough show today for me.
We'll get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone.
Is anyone else allergic to milk? You ever have milk when you're allergic to milk? Oh my gosh,
That's not all.
it's awful.
Is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low cost.
I thought it was lactose-free milk, and it was not.
Touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies channel listeners to dial 1-833-283-5050, you'll receive a free door.
It could have been worse. If I had a banana, when I have a banana, I can't breathe. So that one's worse. Bananas are I'm more allergic to bananas than milk.
That's 1-833-283-5050.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about Ron DeSantis ending his political career forever today. And I think he did that a couple months ago, but he's making it much worse and more permanent every time he does something. So we'll take some more calls, and I'll get into some more things about this. Let's go. 1-888-GO-KANE-1's the number. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Jim from North Palm. Yeah, so I guess one of the things that I noticed is, Ron DeSantis jumping into this race probably happened more than 8 to 10 months ago. I was talking to my friend, and when she told me what he was doing, the campaign thing he was doing, I was like, oh, he's not running for governor, he's running for president. But this is no different than when, Trump tried to run for office. When Trump was running for office, Robert Mercer, who's a very wealthy man in New York, was pushing Ted Cruz until he realized that Ted Cruz was a goof, and he moved on to Trump. And somebody is in DeSantis' ear trying to split the Republican vote, and that's why DeSantis...
Correct.
And unfortunately, if something were to happen where Trump wouldn't be able to run for office, everybody's going to jump back on DeSantis, and that's the problem.
I'm not so sure with that. I'm not so sure about that. Listen, I've been talking this week. We have moved now. It's not final yet, but we're moving now towards a one-party political system, the uniparty. There's no right, and the only thing that's going to save us from that is Trump and MAGA. So if somehow they stop Trump from getting the nomination, and believe me, they got a lot of schemes going on, and DeSantis gets it, I think the Republican voter turnout will be one of the lowest voter turnouts in decades. I don't think people will turn out and vote for Ron DeSantis. Not just as a protest vote, I think people will have an attitude that I think they should. What difference does it make between him and the Democrats? It's the same people. It's the uniparty.
The problem is, here's the situation, right? There's one person who's Trump, and yes, he can get very animated and very, vocal, but still stick to the points that he wants to get to, whether people agree with him or not. And what you have are a bunch of people who are trying to be Donald Trump, and they can't swing the bat.
Yeah.
Whether it's Mary Green, maybe it's Carrie Lake, you guys can all try to make those, clickable.
Yeah.
Instagram, but you're never gonna do it.
No, and Ron DeSantis, like I said, Ron DeSantis is going to get a bit of a bump today because he's making the announcement, and the media are going to just give him a free ride for a few days. But when people see, and Ron DeSantis, President Trump's double digits ahead of him in every poll. When Ron DeSantis gets into a situation where he's debating Trump, people are going to be like, whoa. If you go and watch Ron DeSantis debate his last two opponents, Andrew Gillum 4 years ago and Charlie Crist, he lost both gubernatorial debates. He's awful in debating, and that's just not something that you can pick up overnight. He'll get destroyed.
No, he's going to get taken to the wood chipper right in front of on national TV, whether it's CNN or Fox News, and no one's going to be able to just defend how atrocious he is.
That's right. Ron DeSantis is part of the deep state. He was recruited by the Bush family back in college. I always forget if it's Harvard or Yale, but he was the captain of the baseball team, either at Harvard or Yale. That's when he met H.W. Bush. H.W. Bush was the captain of the baseball team, too. And that's when they recruited him. And he's part of them. He's part of the deep state political Republican establishment, the Lincoln Project crew.
But these are these old ties to the government that have never gone away, and everybody thinks they do, and then lo and behold, you find out that somebody's cousin's brother's housekeeper was friends with somebody, and that's how they got to Harvard, got to Yale, got in the Skulls and Bones Club, knew about all these other private secret societies. And
that's right.
Here we are again in the same place.
That's right. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Very good call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
There are a few things about DeSantis that's been bugging me for a long time. I didn't say anything because I thought he was going to maybe get to him. But number one, HOAs in Florida have way too much power. He never did anything to stop them from abusing a citizen. Number two, the taxes in Florida are almost as bad as New York in some places. You buy a house and then you think you're getting the same taxes that were there before.
Oh, by the way, have you renewed your auto tags lately? I didn't realize how much that went up. I renewed my tags this week on one of my cars, and oh my goodness, it was more money than I've ever paid to renew auto tags.
And so I just bought a new car for my daughter, and trying to get a new tag for the man is ridiculous. That's another one. And the last one that's been bugging me for a long time is your water bill. You know, they charge you for water, and if you water your lawn, they charge you the same amount of money for the water you take as the water goes into the sewer. And meanwhile, you water your lawn.
I know, that's a lot of inside baseball stuff. But there's a handful of things going on in Florida that are visual that President Trump's campaign could use to show that Ron DeSantis is completely checked out, all right? He used us. He used us to get reelected so he could have that status. Most presidents come from governors. I know there's exceptions, but most of them come from governors, and he was recruited years ago, and this is the plan. There's a handful of things they could show that would show that he is checked out and doesn't do his job, okay? One of them is the red tide, that algae around the state of Florida. You know, that's still there, and it's bad. But if you've been to the beaches of Florida lately, oh my goodness, I'm embarrassed by our beaches. They're covered in seaweed, which we've never had before. All the beaches, by the way, Florida beaches, every beach you go to is overloaded with seaweed. And what's DeSantis doing about that? Remember that building collapse in Miami Beach? I know he was down there and everything, and if you go down to that area where that building collapsed, there's a lot of buildings that look like they're going to fall down any day. And what has changed in Miami, other than raising homeowners insurance prices, what has happened with the high rises in Miami Beach? What has DeSantis done to make people safer? And you know, but there's another big problem in Florida. This one, and the things I'm talking about are visual. If people saw the red tide, you'd be shocked. If people saw the seaweed on the beaches, you know what I'm talking about, Doug. It's awful. I mean, I can't believe the seaweed on the. But this is another thing, okay? We have in Florida a homeless problem of working people that really is sick. You know, the local news does a lot of coverage on this. Housing, so many people have moved to Florida because of the pandemic that not only have houses gone up in price, rental prices are through the roof. And a lot of these people, if they move from California, they don't mind the high rents because it's still low by California standards. But there are, throughout this state, entire families where the parents work and have good jobs and they're living in a Ford Explorer in a parking lot somewhere. And I'm not talking about the typical homeless people like you have on the subway in New York or on the street corners begging for money. I'm talking about people that no one knows are homeless, that go to work every day in an office and they're living in their Expedition with their kids or their Camry with their kids at night. And it's a big problem going on throughout the state of Florida because rents are so high. And these are problems that Ron DeSantis isn't addressing because he's going out there looking for national attention, talking about woke Disney all the time. I'm not saying woke Disney is not a problem, but there were other problems that he's ignoring because they don't get him the flashy national headlines. And if President Trump had his people go around and show the algae on the beach, the falling down conditions of the Miami Beach buildings where the tower collapsed, the working homeless, the middle-class homeless problem in the state of Florida, it would expose him as a do-nothing spokesmodel, a poser, an imposter, who's, you know, and it would be devastating to Ron DeSantis.
Oh yeah. How about taking a video camera and showing the homeless shelter with all the people laying outside on the grass because they can't get into the homeless shelter because there's no room.
Yeah.
And so that would be something.
Yeah, these things we're talking about. They may not matter a lot to people outside of Florida, but they're all very visual. In particular, the middle class homeless problem in this country. I mean, and those of you that are renters in Florida, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's bad. And the local news I've seen different news stations have done a lot of reporting on this, and it's hard to even watch those stories because you don't want to know what's going on in our own community. And this homeless problem I was talking about with the Disney workers in Kissimmee, where hundreds and hundreds of Disney employees are living in condemned motels in Kissimmee with their families in conditions that are third world. That if the Trump campaign sent some people there just with their iPhone cameras and showed the world what's really going on that Ron DeSantis is ignoring because he and his wife are doing this cosplay presidency thing, I think it would be so devastating to him, he wouldn't be able to recover from it.
I totally agree, and I think...
Oh, and I left one out. When are we going to see the interview with those high school girls from that picture of him when he went to that party, when he was a school teacher? Yeah.
That's for sure. There's so much things that Trump could bring out against him that I think it's
Well, now we're gonna get into that. You know, a lot of these things Trump will hold on to till the debate, but things are going to, now it's on. As soon as he makes the announcement, it's on, and President Trump has given him every opportunity. President Trump leaked that photograph of DeSantis with the high school girls because he wanted to give him a taste of what's going to happen, and it was a warning shot. Hey, if you should not run. And he's arrogant, and he's announcing today with Elon Musk, and it's going to be game on, and it's going to be brutal.
Gloves off. Time to let everybody know exactly what he's all about.
All right, Conservative Doug, thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Yeah, I'm going to go through the polls when we get back. People need to hear these polls because it's a joke. It's a joke. I'm just reading over a couple articles. Who's mad at Elon Musk? Elon's not doing anything wrong. It's Ron DeSantis.
to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. Now, of course, I am MAGA. I support President Trump. MAGA for life, baby. And as Father's Day is right around the corner, there's a great gift that every MAGA dad would love. And this is this incredible Trump print from patrioticprintsusa.com. You've heard us talk about it since last week, and I know many of you have ordered it. This is a great Father's Day gift. But you don't have to be a dad to want one. You know, the ladies out there I know have been ordering them too, because I've heard from some of our female callers. And it comes in 3 different sizes. And Patriotic Prints, that's prints with an S, patrioticprintsusa.com, they commissioned artist Michael Israel to paint this beautiful painting of our great president. And they've made these limited edition prints that they're offering to you and our radio listening audience first. They are beautiful. I have 2 of them. I have one here at the radio station. I have one at home hanging on my wall. They're beautiful. If you want to see what this beautiful print looks like, go to patrioticprintsusa.com. That's prints with an S. patrioticprintsusa.com. They ship them out fast, and it makes a great Father's Day gift. patrioticprintsusa.com. All right, we're talking about Ron DeSantis. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good.
Hey, Lisa, I forgot to add that with each print you buy, a portion is donated to President Trump's 2024 re-election campaign. All right, Lisa in Texas, what's up?
Hi. Well, listen, for the people out there that are Ron DeSantis, supporters, so they say, but sometimes I think some of them are libs in disguise. But there's 3 things I'd like to state to help them realize what a liar DeSantis is that you've helped us learn. I mean, one of them is, number one, he used MAGA twice to get elected. The first time, to get reelected. He lied in Jerusalem about moving the capital.
Okay, yeah, let's slow down on that, because I forgot about that one. I want to highlight it. President Trump has many great accomplishments. I believe his greatest accomplishment is the reversal of Roe v. Wade, because he will save millions of lives. Millions of babies will be born from now until forever. He's like the Oscar Schindler of unborn children. There's nothing President Trump could do to save millions of lives. It's amazing what he did, and no one thought it could be done. But in the top 5, maybe in the top 2 after that, is moving the moving the embassy, the U.S. embassy in Israel, from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Jerusalem's the capital. And this sellout government we've had prior to Trump didn't have our U.S. embassy in Israel's capital because they didn't offend they didn't want to offend Muslims who knocked down the buildings on 9/11. Okay, I mean they seem pretty pissed anyway. And Ron DeSantis on his Rainbow Tour was over in Israel and said that he took credit for moving the embassy to Jerusalem. Said that he talked Trump into it. Trump said it's a lie. They never even talked about it. I mean, that's scary that he would just lie about something. That's pathological.
Yes, correct. I mean, yeah, the embassy. I didn't mean, I misspoke there, sorry. But exactly, that is the worst. That is one of the worst things he could have done, along with all the other things he's done. And then, to top it off, he has now obviously secretly signed this law that he can run for president while governor. And someone in the chat room asked the question, does that mean if he loses the president run, does he still stay governor?
Yeah. Now, he may not have signed it yet. He may sign it today. Florida law states that if you're governor and you run for president, you have to resign as governor. You can run for other offices. Our governor before Ron DeSantis was a great governor, Rick Scott. And he's our senator. He ran for the Senate while he was still governor. But if you're running for president, you can't be governor. The Florida state legislature passed a bill changing that law, and I have not heard anything about Ron DeSantis signing it or not, and it's been almost a month. And either he signed it and they've kept it secret, or he's going to sign it today before the Twitter thing with Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm. He's going to have to if he's going to run, right?
or resign as governor. And our lieutenant governor, I can't even remember her name. From what I understand, she's she's a very liberal Republican. So we don't want her.
She doesn't even seem like a Republican to me from what I've learned about her.
A lot of people, Ron DeSantis has signed a lot of conservative things into law, and I'm not going to he's done a lot of great things. But what I've been telling people is he's doing the conservative equivalent of virtue signaling. He's doing all these uber conservative things to say, look, I'm MAG, I'm conservative. I don't think he cares about any of them. I think he just does whatever he has to do to try to become president. I don't know. Am I too hard on Ron DeSantis?
I don't think you are at all, because it's all showing up, especially in his everything he's done on his little tour with his book tour. That I guess they're selling his book all over the world. For him to tour the world.
Yesterday I was down in Miami with my wife, and I went to the gas station. I was cleaning out the car, and I came across my copy of the Ron DeSantis book. It was under the seat. I got so pissed. He trashed Trump in that book. He really trashed Trump in that book, and it really ticked me off. And I didn't read past like page 90 because I didn't like what he was saying about President Trump, and I threw it on the floor in the back seat. So I was at the gas station cleaning out the car. I took Ron DeSantis' book, and I threw it away at the gas station yesterday in Miami.
Oh, my goodness.
I should have filmed it. I should have made a video and put it on YouTube or something. But I saw the book, and I'm like, oh, get rid of that. And I threw it away with my empty Coke bottles and water bottles and stuff. Yeah, my McDonald's. Yeah.
Well, listen, before I go, I just want to also state Robin and I were praying for Kathy, and we're just so glad to hear the great news.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care. Yeah, my wife had, just tell you guys what happened real quick with my wife, then we'll break. My wife had a problem where we had to go to the emergency room on Saturday morning, and they did a whole bunch of tests, and the emergency room doctor, who I wasn't too comfortable with, because I told my wife, we've been coming to this hospital since this doctor was like in middle school. I think I recognized her from going to school with my daughter. I don't know. And this ER doctor, after they did these tests, gave my wife some information that showed that my wife was going to be like dead. Okay, she told my wife terrible things about her health condition, and so we went to see her specialist in Miami yesterday, and her specialist said that the emergency room doctor misread the test, and she basically gave my wife a death sentence. And my wife and I haven't slept for like 3 or 4 days because of it, but she's doing well. So we got a clean bill of health on that issue. The doctor in the ER was wrong. All right, we'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It is very soupy and swampy outside. Humidity after downpours again last night. Today, we have the possibility of some heavy rains moving through again, mainly in the late afternoon and evening hours, as that low pressure continues to really stay stalled and spinning over the Gulf and only slowly moving close to the peninsula. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Very quiet this morning for the Palm Beach commute on 95 and Turnpike on North Crash Frame, moving up the speed between Boca Raton and Jupiter. The surface streets are also incident free, but some light going down Southern Boulevard eastbound coming out of the Gate Bridge. Also some light buildups on Glazeport eastbound towards 95. Further south into Broward County, we're also incident free there. Just some light buildups on 95 heading northbound from Deerfield Beach and Boca. This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Hey shoppers, this is local farmer letting you know the Florida watermelon is in season right now. Look for the Sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com from the Florida Department of Agriculture. Let's drop on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Calling all happy campers, Camp Rusty Dog Retreat at PBKC is a daycare and boarding facility that offers a perfect combination of outside adventures and cozy indoor cabin time. And Camp Rusty is open every day with 24/7 drop-off and pickup.
Yeah, I just took that Ron DeSantis book, tossed it away in the gas station garbage.
Give us a call at 561-640-7856 or go to camprusty.com.
If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association,
I thought I had thrown it away already. I didn't realize it was still in the back seat of my car. It was under my driver's seat.
will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. Brian Craig here. I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, has rid me of pain from a knee injury and arthritis pain with his laser away pain treatment. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our callers who called me live on the radio to tell me how chiropractic physician Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain treatment.
You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Sean. I'm calling from Boca Raton. I want to thank you guys once again. I've listened to this show since the mid-'80s. Thank you for introducing me to Dr. Appleton, Brian and Steve. I went in there last week. I had a knee problem. And one session, I feel so much better. I brought my mother there yesterday. She has a problem with her right side or her arm. She's right-handed. She feels better. It's amazing. And for people out there that are dealing with pain, believe me, there is an alternative. Go in there for the free consultation. FRE is free. You will lose. The only thing you'll lose is the pain that you're dealing with. Do not suffer. Go in and see Dr. Appleton, the greatest visit of your life.
Give Dr. Appleton a call right now. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710.
The polls that I went through, I did not realize this. I'm going to get into this when we get back. The polls I went through, where Trump's double digits, all those polls, they include Tim Scott. They include Tim Scott.
I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely.
I did not realize that.
They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah.
I did not realize that. I'm going to highlight that when we go back. I'm going to go through the polls when we get back.
And use our code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0 right now. Buy one.
What do you guys think Tim Scott's polling at in the polls? DeSantis, you know his numbers. What would be your guess Tim Scott's poll numbers are in the Republican field? Give me a number.
Passenger rail service that runs on the historic rail route connecting Canada from east to west. Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to briantrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. That's briantrain.com and request your brochure.
Welcome, everyone. It's the last commercial. We'll be right back after this.
So you order the essentials, a new board game, some baking supplies, and even a new projector for outdoor movie night. And with the Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards which you can put toward an extra treat that everyone will enjoy, like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Oh, man. Okay. This is amazing what I have in front of me. Okay. I went through the polls, the latest polls in the Republican primaries, and I'm going to go through them again. And I realized something about these polls that I did not realize the last time I went through them in the last hour, about an hour ago. I got a call from one of our listeners, and he said, well, when are we going to see the first polls with Tim Scott in them? And I said, I guess Monday. Well, not only was I incorrect, the polls I went through have Tim Scott in them. What do you guys think Tim Scott is polling at? You've heard me talk about Trump and DeSantis. Tim Scott, they're making a big deal. Worked at the Chick-fil-A, and look at him now. Now, what do you think he's polling at in the polls? Give me a number. Think about it for a second, but I want to go through this. You know, not only is Ron DeSantis making a mistake, his career's over, he's unelectable forever, he has a hopeless campaign. The only question is he aware of this and it's a money grab, or is he so full of himself he thinks he can win it? And you're going to hear all these Lincoln Project types. And by the way, the Lincoln Project's chief spokesperson is Kellyanne Conway's husband. Did you see the story about Kellyanne Conway's daughter? She's on the Playboy website doing, oh my goodness, she's turned 18, so, you know. George Conway needs to get more involved in his daughter's life than his obsession over Donald Trump. But these polls that I went through, they include Tim Scott. And I'll tell you what he's polling at when I go through these polls. But so these Lincoln Project, Karl Rove types, these Bushies, and all these never-Trumpers are going to tell you that Trump's not electable, that there's these key states like New Hampshire, and DeSantis is electable. I don't know what they're reading. So this is the latest poll. And these polls are available at Real Clear Politics. This is the American Greatness Poll, the 2024 Republican presidential primary in New Hampshire. Trump is at 39. DeSantis is at 18. So President Trump has a 21-point lead in New Hampshire against DeSantis. Tim Scott, he's polling at 1%. He's 1% ahead of me. He's 1% ahead of you. Tim Scott is polling at 1%. But Donald Trump, 21 points ahead in New Hampshire. Is Karl Rove going to put that on the whiteboard today on Fox? That's right. Let's go to the Reuters poll. The Reuters poll. This is for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. Reuters poll of Republicans. Trump at 49. DeSantis at 21. In the Reuters poll, giving President Trump a 28-point lead. Tim Scott, in the Reuters poll, 1%. That's right. Georgia's Republican presidential primary poll from the Landmark Communications poll, Trump at 40, DeSantis at 32, giving Trump an 8-point lead. But if you look at the margin of error and you put that in, Trump has a double-digit lead there too. Tim Scott doing twice as well in Georgia than in the other states. Tim Scott, 2%. This is the TIPP poll, the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. President Trump at 55. Oh, hold on, I just lost my spot. President Trump at 55. Ron DeSantis at 17, giving President Trump a 38-point lead. Scott is at 2 in that poll as well. 2%. Ramaswamy's at 4. I've been leaving him out. Let's see here. Kentucky. This is the Fox Emerson poll out of Kentucky. President Trump at 70. 7-0. DeSantis at 14. Giving President Trump a 56-point lead in Kentucky. Tim Scott at 1. Let's see, what else do we have? Are there any other ones here? Yeah, okay, here we go. Iowa. The Iowa Republican Presidential Caucus, the American Greatness Poll, Trump at 44, DeSantis at 26, giving Trump an 18-point lead in Iowa. Tim Scott in Iowa, 1. And, of course, the latest poll in Florida is the FAU poll, where President Trump has a 28-point lead that I shared earlier this week. So there's not a poll where Trump does not have a massive lead, a double-digit lead. So where are they getting this idea that it's Ron DeSantis who is electable? I don't know where they're you know where they're getting it? They're just saying it. They don't even mean that. Now, as I said, he's going to get a bump after the announcement today. He's going to get a few-day infomercial. So he's going to do the Twitter Spaces, okay? He's going to do the Twitter Spaces. Then he's going to do some interviews. He's going to be on Fox at 8 tonight. I think I read he's going to be on Fox tonight, which I know we're not going to be watching. MAGA doesn't watch Fox. But he's going to be doing a lot of interviews. And now, I was telling you guys on Monday that the NAACP travel warning is a uniparty effort to help DeSantis. Everyone's talking about it. It's so stupid, right? Come on, right? And what I was telling you guys, the uniparty think MAGA are racist, Nazis, white supremacists. So they think if they can get the NAACP against DeSantis, that will be attacking the NAACP and go into the DeSantis camp. That's how sick these people are. There's another thing they've done. They're creating issues so that he can go on all the talk shows and talk about it and try to get the MAGA voters on his side. There were two drag show events that the trans people canceled in Florida because they said they didn't feel safe. Give me a break. Give me a break. That's a thing so that, the trans could do this victim thing and give DeSantis something to talk about in these interviews. The trans thing, the NAACP thing, because they think we're all homophobes. These are all contrived controversies. NAACP and the drag queen thing. These are contrived controversies so that there's a hook to have Ron DeSantis on television constantly responding to all of these attacks against him. And this is one that I can't play this on the air because it's a visual, but have you seen the video that Casey DeSantis launched of DeSantis? It's so weird, okay? I'll read this article. It describes it a little bit. Ron DeSantis' wife has kicked off his 2024 campaign with a video showing the Florida governor preparing to take the stage, accompanied by a voiceover proclaiming that America is worth fighting for. Casey DeSantis tweeted, "America is worth the fight every single time." She shared a 30-second video showing her husband's standing backstage preparing to address an audience at a huge hangar draped with stars and stripes. These people that are undermining America, they love to surround themselves with the flag. They call it faith because in the face of darkness, you can see that brighter future, a man's voice narrating the scene says. And it's just a very bizarre video. If you've not seen the video, it's just so strange. And DeSantis looks very awkward walking in it if you've seen the video as well. All right, let's take some more calls. We want to kind of keep the focus right now on Ron DeSantis and what's going on here in Florida. I'll tell you another thing the Trump campaign could do. Do some man-on-the-street interviews. Go out on the streets of Florida and ask people to share their opinions on Ron DeSantis. People in Florida are ticked at Ron DeSantis. They feel betrayed. Republicans feel betrayed because we were by Ron DeSantis. Oh, that'd be great stuff, too. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, West Palm Beach. How you doing this morning? I'm Hispanic, and I want to tell you that what's going on here in Florida in the Hispanic community. I mean, there's a campaign against DeSantis for the law that he signed, the law, and
which immigration law did he sign that people are upset about?
Well, the one that he said that the Hispanics or any immigrants cannot come to Florida or be driven by a family member or traffic people from one state to the other. He also signed the law that says, well, it hasn't taken effect, but it will be in June. So there's a lot of Hispanics against that. And there's a nasty campaign with in Univision and Telemundo against that and against DeSantis. They're painting him as the devil, as someone that hates Hispanics. And they're everywhere. They're recording videos of the construction sites in Florida where there's no construction workers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They all have left, and there's a nasty campaign against him. I'm just calling to let you know.
Well, I appreciate it. I am too. I'm not. I mean, he betrayed us. You know, he's a Benedict Arnold. I mean, that's what it is. He was our hero, and now he's betrayed us. I'm sorry. I'm very disappointed. I'm hurt by it. It's painful. I don't enjoy it. You know, he lied to President Trump, and he lied to us Florida voters. He said he would not run against Donald Trump. He said he would not do it, and here he is.
But let me ask you something. I understand he said that. Listen, I love DeSantis. I support him, and I'll vote for Donald Trump. But I love what he's doing. As a governor, I really love what he's doing. And it pains me that the Republican Party is so divided about this. But let me ask you something. Why are you so against him running? I think that if he runs for the president, it prepares him for the future. Like he can get.
I don't want someone who answers to Paul Ryan and Jeb Bush to have a future in the Republican Party as a president, because the Bush family are war criminals, and Paul Ryan is a snake. Remember, Paul Ryan disinvited President Trump to a campaign event after that Access Hollywood tape. I've never forgotten about that. And of course, he ran with Mitt Romney as Mitt Romney's vice presidential candidate. So no, Ron DeSantis, and he has Karl Rove behind him, and who was involved in the war criminal Bush Cheney White House. These are terrible people behind him.
That's so sad to hear that he has all these people behind him, because I really like him as a governor. He's doing a lot of good things.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. Call us on hold. Stand by. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs, or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Sometimes a family needs a little help to deal with life stresses. You can contribute to happy, healthy childhoods with a few simple steps. Notice families under stress. Offer a helping hand. Give your time. Talk about healthy child development. Connect a family with resources. Contributing to a great childhood can be as easy as being a good neighbor. For more, preventchildabusefl.org. This message is sponsored by the Ounce of Prevention Fund of Florida, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West El Rey, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone. Night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet them, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet them again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. This is Florida's longest running radio show. This is the most important question I'm going to ask today, and it's a simple one. And if the answer to this is yes, oh man, I feel so sorry for you, but there is help. Do you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy? If you do, you know it is human torture. If they would have given neuropathy to those inmates at Guantanamo Bay during the War on Terror, they wouldn't have had to do that waterboarding. They would have sung like canaries, because neuropathy is living torture. It's awful. Pain, dizziness, tingling, loss of feeling, loss of balance. And doctors tell you there's no treatment. That's your life. Get used to it. Go home and suffer. Well, there is a treatment that works. Steve Kane will tell you, and many people in this audience too, and it's at Lighthouse Medical Center. They have a neuropathy treatment that does work. I've seen it work in Steve, and I've talked to many of our listeners who have shared their stories. And no matter where you're located, by the way, they can help you. Lighthouse Medical Center is located in Pompano, but if you can't make it to the office, that's okay. They can still help you. Now, when you call, I'm going to give you the number in a moment. Make sure you mention you heard them on the radio so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, we're talking about Ron DeSantis. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Kathy from Tequesta. How are you?
Hey, Tequesta, what's up?
Oh, well, listen, we got big problems. I mean, like, this is like, I don't know. I get nervous. I can't stand this Ron DeSantis. Can't stand him. I got a bad taste in my mouth from this guy, and he's such a traitor. And I can't stand Paul Ryan, and I can't stand the Bush. I mean, like, what? I mean, I feel like they're going to fix this election.
Well, when you look at the people that are behind Ron DeSantis, are there any of them that are good people? Are there any of them that you would support? So the question is, why is Ron DeSantis have some of the most evil people in the Republican Party backing him, including the family of war criminals that lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? I mean, those are the questions. Hey, thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. They're listening.
Wellington.
Hey, what's up, Steve?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think about this. I think this whole thing is strategy, to be honest with you. And the reason why I think it's strategy is because all the stuff that's happened to our President Donald Trump, okay, that we all thought we had it in the bag as far as him being elected again, and it all went down the toilet and they stole the election.
Well, he's double digits ahead of DeSantis. There's not a poll where he is not double digits ahead of Ron DeSantis. And there's these Republican primaries, okay? It's only Republican. I know there's some crossover states here and there, but mostly it's only Republicans, right? There's two types of Republican voters. There's MAGA Republicans and there's never Trumpers. And President Trump not only is double digits in every single poll, what they've done is they've divided the never Trumper vote too. And whatever bump DeSantis, if he got a 20-point bump, he'd still be double digits behind Trump in most every poll. His candidacy is it's like I shared the numbers. By the way, thanks for the call. I shared the numbers with Tim Scott. Tim Scott had 2 days of television infomercials 24/7 after his announcement. They carried his whole speech on all the channels, including CNN and MSNBC. And in all the polls since Tim Scott, he's polling at 1%, except a couple where he's at 2%. 2 and 1%. After an entire week, almost, of free television publicity, he's polling 1 in most polls, and 2, he's at 2 points. People that, Republican voters want one person and one person only. That's Donald Trump. For a whole bunch of reasons. But one of the reasons is how bad things are in the country right now. And it's what Carrie Lake said, if you can't beat Donald Duck, how are you going to beat Donald Trump? Things are so bad in this country, and people remember how good it was during the 4 years of Trump. I mean, think about it. What Trump did during the COVID period is a miracle. I want you guys to think about this. Pretty much the entire economy of the planet was shut down for how long? And he maintained our economic situation to a very, very good level of everything, right? It's amazing what he did. You would think that there would have been a global economic depression after that. Not at all. And here you got Biden, who not only has wrecked the economy, basic things like hamburgers and bacon are luxury items now. It's like steak night to have cheeseburgers now, right? The prices are through the roof on food, gas. How much is gas costing? And they're taking us in this war. And the problems we're facing are pretty serious. And people know the record of Trump, and they know that he can fix it. And he's the only one that can fix it. These guys aren't going to fix it. In fact, these donors that Ron DeSantis is surrounding himself with, ask yourself this question. Do the donors want the war in Ukraine to stop? Of course not. The high price of gas and food, do you think the donors want that to stop? I'm serious. Do you think they want that to stop? No. It's more profit for them. The oil companies, did the oil companies want Donald Trump back in office when gas was? I remember on Inauguration Day, I filled up. It was $1.50 something a gallon. It was less than $1.60 a gallon. I filled my car up when I drove up to see Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Inauguration Day, his last day of his first term. And now look what it is. It's almost $4, Do you think the oil companies want President Trump to come in and lower gasoline prices, lower oil prices? No, they like it high. People don't realize the oil companies aren't with Trump. They're with the Democrats and the establishment. They want the prices higher. Same goes for a lot of other things too. Okay? Things are not what they seem. And, I had a clip that I played last week. They interviewed people that saw DeSantis at an event and said that when he came to the event, he didn't talk to any of the people in attendance except donors. He had that phone call last week that he talked to donors and about donors. He didn't talk to people, regular people. Just all he cares about are the donors. The donors are special interest. President Trump, what he did in his first campaign, doing it in this one, is amazing. He self-funds and then raises money from small donors like you, which is an amazing thing because he's not owed anything by the donor. He doesn't need this donor class of people. It's not, Elon Musk, depending on, the week or the month, he's the richest man in the world, right? Depending on stock prices. But he's either the richest or the second richest man in the world, depending on the week, depending on how the market's doing that week. Do you think it's an accident that Ron DeSantis is launching his campaign with the richest man in the world? No, it's not. He surrounds himself with rich donors. He doesn't care about you. And one of the things they don't get about Trump is why do middle-class people, working people, support him so much? They don't get it. Surrounding himself with the richest man in the world, that's done on purpose. That's the people he likes to be around, Ron DeSantis. Now, I want to tell everyone, as Father's Day approaches, this incredible print of President Trump that patrioticprintsusa.com is offering, that's Prince with an S, patrioticprintsusa.com is a great gift for Father's Day. I have two of these, one here at the radio station, and I have one at home on my wall. patrioticprintsusa.com hired this incredible artist, Michael Israel. They commissioned him to paint this beautiful painting of our president, and they're offering this limited edition print to our radio listeners. It's a great deal, and it's very, very affordable. It makes a great Father's Day gift. I love mine, and I know you'll love yours, and Dad will love his as well. Now, a portion of each print sold is donated to President Trump's official 2024 re-election campaign as well. Yeah, no big donors. That's just you every time you buy one of these great prints. So go to patrioticprintsusa.com and order yours. They're very affordable. And if you want to know what it looks like, you'll see it right there. patrioticprintsusa.com. It's that great portrait of the president in front of the White House. And you'll love it, I promise you. So go to patrioticprintsusa.com and order yours for Father's Day. That's Prince with an S. patrioticprintsusa.com. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. We'll come back with more calls. Steve will be joining us. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by the Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rogues Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rogues, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It is very soupy and swampy outside. Humidity after downpours again last night. Today, we have the possibility of some heavy rains moving through again, mainly in the late afternoon and evening hours as that low pressure continues to really stay stalled and spinning over the Gulf and only slowly moving close to the peninsula. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Palm Beach Expressway still crash free this morning, but not quite moving up to speed. We're seeing usual delays now on 95 in southbound, passing Boynton Beach Boulevard. Also on the Turnpike northbound, passing over Chilby and Southern. On 95 northbound, seeing some light traffic passing Deepwood Beach into Boca. We also have a multi-vehicle crash further southbound, Pembroke Pines, Pines Boulevard at Dykes Road. Also Taft Street at Flamingo at Palm Avenue. This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Hey shoppers, this is local farmer letting you know the Florida watermelon is in season right now. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com from the Florida Department of Agriculture. That's traffic on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the newly renovated poker room at PBKC, open daily for cash games, high-hand giveaways, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments. You can also play your favorite casino table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com. Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News now, I'm Inez de la Cuetera. Today is 1 year since a teenager with a semi-automatic rifle walked into the elementary school he once attended in Uvalde, Texas, and gunned down 19 students and 2 teachers.
Healing is coming slowly for those who were inside Robb Elementary School last May 24th. Their days are marked by anxiety and sadness and something more. Fourth grade teacher Arnie Reyes watched as 11 children in his classroom were murdered while police officers were outside the door.
They have all the tactical gear, bulletproof vests, guns, I have a pencil.
Reyes was shot twice. His physical wounds are healing, but he says the emotional injuries will take longer. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Still no agreement on raising the debt ceiling. Negotiators met for 2 hours on Tuesday and are still insisting they can get a deal without the U.S. defaulting on its debt. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster says he looks forward to signing a 6-week abortion ban that lawmakers approved on Tuesday. This is ABC News.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through June, purchase the Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
Your invitation to summer has arrived with 50% off everything.
The average was $1.79, so it was a lot less in certain places. The gas, I saw someone said the gas was that was the national average.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Yeah.
I did not hear your earlier.
No.
Do you do anything on this Hunter College teacher that was running amok?
No, I was been talking about DeSantis mostly.
Yeah. No. Okay.
You're talking about you're talking about the one that took the machete to the New York Post reporter?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, what a nutcase.
She is nuts. There's no question of that. But if you haven't been discussing it, it's not a good one to open.
Well, no, it's a that story. I mean, wait till the stories come out. Could you imagine what it's been like for students in her class? You know how difficult it is to fire a black woman at a university who's a professor? Steve, she's got to have a record of incidents at that college. They fired her quick. In fact, I don't know. I think they might have fired her before the machete incident.
I think they fired her as...
After? Oh, was it?
She was reprimanded, but not fired initially for upending their display.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of you because the first thing went into my head, and I was curious if your reaction was the same as mine. Why do you think she had such a crazy I mean, it was insane. I mean...
Oh, it's obvious. She's had an abortion, at least one.
Exactly right. She's had a tragic personal experience in her life which caused her to act totally irrationally and cost her job. And it just goes to show you, it's a sad story when you think about it, because it goes to show you we don't often think about the damage done to the mother in a situation like that, but it just goes to show you how extreme the reaction can be.
And a machete, I mean, people are laughing about the machete. The people that are laughing about the machete have not been around a machete. A machete is very dangerous. I used to have a machete. I got rid of it. I got a machete because I thought I could use it to trim some of the trees in the background. Yeah. Well, it's a weapon. And I was talking to one of the Palm Beach County deputies in my neighborhood, and he was working in. I'm mentioning Belle Glade again, but he was working in Belle Glade, and he told me that some of the people in Belle Glade walk around during the day with machetes. I don't know. I'm like, whoa. I said, I wouldn't want to be working over there. He's like, no. He said it's like Mogadishu.
Field hand, take it, Rick.
I don't think so. No, he's like, no, I don't think so. But did she cut that reporter with the machete? I don't know what the exact law is in New York because they've legalized crime apparently, but putting a machete to someone's throat that is a very threatening and very dangerous motion.
Especially a sharpened machete.
Oh, there's no way hers was not sharpened. There's no way it was dull. Looking at her, it looks like she might use it to cut her hair. Have you seen her hair? She had that Whoopi Goldberg thing going on.
Ranged.
Oh, she's a teacher of students, where she used to be. She'll get hired by someone else, some other. It won't be Hillsdale, but some university will hire her. But I think her mindset is typical of college professors these days. I really do. I really do. And the way I didn't play the audio of her yesterday that came out of talking to the pro-life students. I was going to play it, but it was just like one beep, beep, because there was so much salty language. And so I didn't bother playing it yesterday, but when I saw that footage, which of course is on the front page of the New York Post, other than the New York Post, there's really a media blackout on the machete professor. Could you imagine if someone with a MAGA hat on had taken a machete and put it to the neck of like a Washington Post reporter or a CNN reporter? Oh my! Not only would they be in jail, every media outlet would be like that ridiculous thing with that guy with the Nazi flag yesterday in the U-Haul, who's not white, another non-white Nazi. It's amazing. I don't know what's going on, Steve. I guess the Nazis now are getting woke and have diversity quotas. They have all these non-white Nazis now. But that teacher, I imagine she's got however long she's been teaching at that university, she's got to have a long history of incidents at that school.
Up to this point, and everything that's going to come between now and the election is all foreplay for the big election, which is coming up because the
Well, I've been going through the polls today, and the polls are devastating for Ron DeSantis. There's no bump that's going to get him close to Trump.
True.
Did you hear me go through the polls? Oh, let me do it again. I want to do it every hour because let me go through some of them because what they're going to tell you today, Karl Rove and all these idiots, they're going to tell you that DeSantis is electable and Trump is not, and they're going to specifically highlight New Hampshire and Iowa. But I've got, and these are polls that are this week, Steve, that include Tim Scott. Okay, so let me find. Hold on. This is New Hampshire. Okay, and again, these are, yeah. Well, he hasn't announced yet. Yeah, this is after Tim Scott is in these polls. He's at 1 in all but 2 of them, where he's at 2 points. Tim Scott. So yeah, but in the New Hampshire poll, Trump is at 39 and DeSantis is at 18. Trump has a 21-point lead. And that's in New Hampshire. In the Rasmussen National poll, these are all polls of Republicans now, keep in mind. Yes, these are polls after Tim, yes. These are all this week. I just lost my spot, Steve. Hold on a second here. Okay. Okay, Rasmussen, this is nationwide Republicans. Trump at 62, DeSantis at 17. So Trump has a 45-point lead in that. Scott's at 1. Let's see here. Where's the next one? This is the Reuters poll. This is nationwide. Trump at 49, DeSantis at 21. Trump has a 28-point lead. This is the Kentucky Republican presidential primary. Trump, and this is a Fox Emerson poll, which is a very well-cited poll. Trump is at 70, 7-0. Trump is at 70. DeSantis is at 14, so Trump has a 56-point lead. Tim Scott's at 1. These are Republicans only. They're only because that's all that matters because we're in primary season, right? They'll probably start including Democrats so that they can pump up DeSantis's numbers. These are polls simply of Republicans. And let's see here. Iowa, right? That's the other one. Iowa, about Iowa. In the latest poll in Iowa, Trump is at 44, DeSantis at 26, giving Trump an 18-point lead. Tim Scott's at 1. And in the latest Florida poll, which is from Florida Atlantic University, Trump has a 28-point lead. So there's not a poll where Trump does not have a double-digit lead. And I expect DeSantis, there's 2 things I expect today. By the way, this stupid way that he's announcing on Twitter is so dumb. So few people are going to see it. But he's doing it at 6 p.m., so he's even going to miss the news cycle. He's doing it in this weird format at 6 p.m. You want to do it earlier so the people in the evening news can have it, right? And play the clips and everything. The whole thing's stupid. But, well, this is what I'm expecting, okay? Now, we all assume DeSantis is going to get a bump in the poll because he's going to have a few days of infomercial press coverage, right?
Down 30 points. You need more than a bump.
Well, the polls that come out starting tomorrow and over the weekend, we're going to have to look very carefully at the methodology. Because I think they're going to be polling more than just Republicans. I think they're going to start they're going to call them polls of Americans and things like this. They need to get some liberals, some Democrats into these polls that hate Trump to try to get DeSantis' numbers to look like he got a major bump after the Elon Musk Twitter Spaces announcement. Yeah. Now, Steve, what's the biggest bump anyone has gotten in history when they've announced? 5 points, 10 points? If he got a 10-point bump, which has got to be historically unheard of, right? If he got a 10-point bump, he'd still be double digits behind Trump in every poll pretty much. If he got a 10-point bump, and there's no way he's going to get a 10-point bump.
Nervous about announcing.
You think that's why he's doing it in this weird way?
Yeah, well, I think he keeps putting it. I mean, this is my own, I have no proof of this, but the sense I get from watching this, I can't even call it a campaign yet, but if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt and call it a campaign, If you give them the benefit of the doubt, it's double digits.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this Twitter Spaces thing is, what Elon Musk is trying to do is he's trying to make Twitter the place where politics are discussed and promoted as opposed to the television news. And I saw Lester Holt from NBC News on TV last night in a panic about this. So, but the thing is that Twitter Spaces is a very weird thing that's on Twitter. I've used it twice to listen to Elon Musk. And the Republican voters are older than the liberal voters. I don't care if they have 50 million people that watch it. Most Republican voters are not going to go on Twitter and listen to a Twitter Spaces discussion. It's really a stupid way for him to launch his campaign. It really is. It's not reaching the people he needs to reach. Everything that DeSantis has done in the last couple months, every decision he's made has been the wrong one. In my opinion, I haven't seen him make a right decision yet. Have you?
There's only one bad decision that he made that matters, and that is running
against Trump. Exactly. Well, listen, let's take our break. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve's here. Our number toll free. I'd like to hear what you think about this. At 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. That's 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours at the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I go to Any Lab Test Now in Boca and Any Lab Test Now in Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio. Experience awe-inspiring landscapes and traverse the great Canadian Rocky Mountains on the Rocky Mountaineer Train with bi-level glass stone coaches, August 15th through the 20th. The only passenger rail service that runs on the historic rail route connecting Canada from east to west. Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to BrianTrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now. Memories that will last a lifetime. That's BrianTrain.com and request your brochure. With a great new message from Elegant Youth. Their new semi-glutide treatment burns fat, boosts energy levels, suppresses appetite, balances blood sugar, and promotes rapid weight loss. Elegant Youth is in the Sandalfoot Plaza, right next to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Give them a call right now. 561-717-8081. 561-717-8081. Online at elegantyouthboca.com. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs or Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsborough. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. I was listening during the break to the commercial for the Rocky Mountaineer train. That train trip is almost completely booked. There's only a handful of spots left. And I'm just going to get an email saying it's all booked up, Brian. Stop telling people about the Rocky Mountaineer. But there are a handful of availability still, but they're filling up quickly. You know, this trip is in August, mid-August, August 15th through the 20th, which is the best time of year to travel through Canada. The weather's perfect while it's hot and humid here in Florida. So go to briantrain.com and request a brochure, all right? It's on the left. And when you get that brochure, it gives you all the details, including the different pricing options, briantrain.com. And there's also an incredible video that shows you the train tour, which will blow your mind. It's just beautiful. It's hard to believe it's even real. It looks like a Bruckheimer production. It's beautiful. briantrain.com and request a brochure. I was looking at the story of the professor, Steve. In the New York Post headline, they got the picture of the professor with the machete to the reporter's throat, and it says, "The Nutty Professor's" the headline. That's a good headline. Yeah, those headlines they have are the best. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For the listeners, if they're interested, in terms of research, Brian covers the internet, and I do the, what you see on television at night. You'll be pleased to know, Brian, that I have expanded I find my listening time, more of it now than I used to be on the one you like.
Newsmax.
But still, the problems remain for me during the daytime programming. It's not of the quality.
No, I agree. That some of the daytime people aren't as good, but you got to catch Rob Schmidt at 7 on Newsmax. Rob Schmidt is awesome. I miss Greg Kelly. He's on at 10. It's past my bedtime, but Rob Schmidt is very good. Yeah,
About your sources as you peruse, that great word, peruse, as you peruse the internet, are you reading anything about in the near future, a pending indictment coming up for Trump?
They're always talking about something. This Georgia case. Yeah, the Georgia case. This one thing they're doing is insane with us. The one they're going to get him jammed up on is the skanky. I keep mispronouncing her name. Stormy Daniels. The Stormy Daniels gag order is the next one they're going to trip him up on. Because, well, this is what's going to happen. This liberal judge put the gag order on Trump. He can't talk about the Stormy Daniels thing at all. Well, the judge ordered it. So if he is asked a question about Stormy Daniels by someone in a debate, a reporter, and he responds, he's violated the gag order. I guess you're in contempt of court. They can put you in jail for that.
Be charged with contempt.
Yeah.
It would be free speech.
Well, it doesn't. Judge's order. The judge will order you to go to jail. It's it's a real and these never Trumper Lincoln Project people that are behind Ron DeSantis and some of these others. There's no way they don't bring up Stormy Daniels. I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but I'll say it. I would not be surprised if they have Stormy Daniels in the audience at the first Republican debate. I would not be surprised. She'd do it. What else is she going to do? She wants the publicity, and they're going to try to bait him. And I don't know. If they ask him about it, you think he'll respond, or will he say this liberal judge won't let me talk about it?
Does the court order permit him to respond? Or
no. She can do, no, she doesn't have to talk. They could have her just sitting there, Steve. They could just.
But if reporters ask her a question.
I don't know if the gag order applies to her, but if they could have, these never Trumpers could bring Stormy Daniels and have her sitting in the front row at the debate. And then Chris Christie and DeSantis start asking him about it. The moderator asks him about it. And if he responds, he's violated the gag order. I remember we had Fred Goldman on the show when the civil trial was going on against O.J. Simpson. And Fred Goldman had a gag order. And he couldn't talk about the O.J. Simpson case, the murder of his son. And we had him on. I don't know why we had him on with the gag order. I guess we thought we could get, and we were taking calls and we were asking him about it. Callers were, and he was getting ticked. He's like, I can't talk about Mr. Simpson, I can't talk about him, all this stuff. And that's what's going to happen to Trump. It's almost like the gag order on the Stormy Daniels case was put in there to try to, it's like an entrapment. It's like one of those, a little case of entrapment that they have going on against Trump.
This is in the offing that...
Oh, that's the only one, that's the major one right now. They're not going to win any of these cases in the end. None of them. None of them. Okay? He's done no wrong. They're not going to win any of them, but they're harassing him.
Big picture, the more my prediction seems to be coming true, that it is this case that has turned the public around in favor of Trump, this New York case.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And everybody seems to be, as I listen to the commentary, pretty much all the commentators are identifying that as a turning point in the case. And if form holds true, when they start making a fuss about what's going on in the Stormy Daniels case, it'll only increase Trump's popularity.
No, the one that looks like there's going to be an indictment, maybe an arrest in, is this ridiculous classified documents case, which is another just insane. When President Trump came home to Mar-a-Lago, he was still president. He could take anything he wants and declassify anything. But the guy that's the special prosecutor, if you've seen his pictures, he looks like a really scary dude. And what President Trump's team have done is very strange. Did you see this? They've asked for a private meeting. Trump's lawyers, they've asked for a private meeting with Merrick Garland about the special counsel in the documents case, which I don't ever remember anything like that happening. And Merrick Garland's not going to do anything to help the Trump team, no matter how out of control that guy is. Very strange, that case.
They can get something from Merrick.
Merrick Garland is as crazy as the rest of them, and he's not going to give anything to Trump, no matter what. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's part of the never Trumper, Trump derangement establishment uniparty.
I mean, as I watch my television sets, I don't get the feeling that they're all whistling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Merrick Garland is so mad at President Trump and the MAGA movement. He blames the Republicans for not being on the Supreme Court, because remember, Obama nominated him, and the Republicans wouldn't have a hearing, and that's a lifetime job of doing nothing, and it's very prestigious, and he's so ticked off about that he's not going to give any break to the Republicans. All right, listen, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It is very soupy and swampy outside. Humidity after downpours.
Gosh darn it.
Today we have the possibility of some heavy rains moving through again, mainly in the late afternoon and evening hours, as that low pressure continues to really stay stalled and spinning over the Gulf and only slowly moving close to the peninsula. I'm WPDF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
This morning on 95 and Turnpike are both crash free. Usual delays on 95 and northbound to Deerfield Beach and Boca. Also on 95 and Southbound from Military Road down to Atlantic Avenue. strip like north and southbound passing Lake Worth Road. 595 eastbound University driver crash still blocking the left shoulder. Anyways, we're back to Flamingo now. And we have multi-vehicle crashes on Silver Boulevard, Period Road, also in Lake Worth Road 4.1. Also a Boulevard and Military Trail. This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Hey shoppers, this is local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season right now. Look for the Sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com from the Florida Department of Agriculture. That's traffic from Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Calling all happy campers, Camp Rusty Dog Retreat at PBKC is a dog care and boarding facility that offers a perfect combination of outside adventures and cozy indoor cabin time. And Camp Rusty is open every day with 24/7 drop-off and pickup, and is conveniently located right across from PBIA. So come for a free tour or give us a call at 661-640-7856 or go to camprusty.com.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. I wish we had them for everyone, but the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. Here you see your home right from the palm of your hand. And that's not all. Sloman's going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to dial 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's now for this limited time offer, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry for 40 years. We are originally from Connecticut, where our values and work ethic is second to none. We install all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingle, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed roofing and general contractors. At Laporta Contracting, family is what we are, and roofing and restoration is what we do. We help guide our customers through a successful outcome by constantly informing them every step of the way. At Laporta Contracting, let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or visit us on our website at laportacontracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
Brian Craig here. Are you looking for a reliable scooter sales and repair shop? Look no further than Anything Scooters. When my scooter broke down, Anything Scooters took care of everything for me and had me back out on the road in no time. At a great price, too. They have a huge majority of scooters for sale, both new and used. They offer financing. They also accept trade-ins on all new and used scooter purchases. So don't let that old scooter gather dust in the garage. Trade it in and get a great deal on a new ride. If you're looking to upgrade your scooter's performance, they've got you covered. Their expert technicians can handle anything from simple oil changes to engine rebuilds, even high-performance modifications. At Anything Scooters, they use only top-quality oils and replacement parts to ensure that your scooter runs like it should. They're very friendly and they have great customer service. Visit anythingscooters.com or give them a call directly. 954-226-8710. 954-226-8710. 954-226-8710. Online, anythingscooters.com.
This is Lori Keene. When people go to the dentist, they think of the pain, but the biggest pain is the cost. Not with Dr. Gupta at Bright Dental Care. The dental work is painless, and the prices are painless too. Call today, 954-922-4633, 954-922-4633.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Yep.
The bedside
That's true. Yes.
is if you have a problem and if your teeth are very sensitive, as mine are, uh, you want to experience Dr. Gupta. It's like night and day with some of the other doctors.
Well, I'll tell you the thing about Dr. Gupta is, he's a top dentist. He's a longtime listener of the Steve Kane Show. And his prices are so fair and so affordable. That's why we have listeners that drive over an hour each way to see Dr. Gupta, because it's great dental work and great prices. Yeah, let me give out the number to Dr. Gupta since you mentioned it.
Get a little down and depressed and concerned about the direction the Trump.
Well, let me give out Dr. Gupta's number, Steve, so people can call him. Yeah, okay. Doesn't do any good to talk about him if we don't give out the contact info. The spot was good until then. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. And online, BrightonDental.com. All right.
The lead editorial today in the New York Post on page 30, Biden, this is a banner headline, big bold letters, Biden cover-up collapsing.
Oh, you're talking about the bribe?
Well, I think they're talking about the whole direction of the whole case.
They're trying to get rid of him.
Actually, I think what it is I think the new whistleblower, I think they finally got to the whistleblower that's going to make a difference, and they're going to be able to get their hands on. They need that file.
See, I read it differently than you. I think that they went to Biden and asked him not to run. They wanted to plug somebody else in. I don't know who. And he defied them, him and his wife. And I think the deep state are releasing this information to try to get him out of the running.
In the end.
Well, Biden doesn't worry, but he doesn't want his kids and his loser family to go to jail. And they don't have the same immunity that he does. And that's why they're doing this.
How much immunity he has, it's how much immunity he thinks he has.
Yeah.
Either way, that's a headline I like.
But this is, this whistleblower's from the FBI and has a document that's a Justice Department document about the bribe. So the idea that there's we saw these whistleblowers at that House hearing with Jim Jordan the other day, and the Democrats were all over them like really nasty. This is like this whistleblower, though, gets elevated, unlike those guys. This whistleblower is part of the deep state. This is a deep state op against Biden. They want him out.
Physical evidence identifying. Need to publicly identify someone who will verify the.
Yeah, but there's one thing they're not factoring in, okay? Biden's been in Washington longer than most of these people have been alive. So he knows everyone's dirty secret. So if he gets defiant and they push him, he may say, back off, or I'm going to start naming names.
Worse than that for the Democrats, because you don't know how. I mean, we know that Biden is not in good shape psychologically, but nobody knows how rational he's going to be when push comes to shove. And he might get very unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The New York Post is convinced that it's collapsing for Biden is good news.
Well, the last time Biden had a fit is when he ordered that withdrawal from Afghanistan before they were prepared. And look how that turned out. So he could throw a fit, and who knows what he'll do. He's very dangerous. I have the Real Clear Politics average among Republicans. Now, this is a good, the Real Clear, the polls I read are all on Real Clear Politics. But what Real Clear Politics does, which is a pretty cool thing, I don't pay attention to polls too much. I look at the trends of the polls, okay, as opposed to the individual numbers. Well, what they do is they take all, exactly. Real Clear Politics takes all the polls and then they average them together. And this is the Republicans. There's a lot of Republicans here, right? We've got Tim Scott, Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Pence, DeSantis, and Trump. Okay? And this is the Real Clear Politics average of all the latest, up-to-date, most recent Republican polls. The Real Clear Politics has President Trump at 56.3. So he's got more than all the others put together. So we've got Trump at 56.3, which is an unheard of lead. DeSantis is number 2 at 19.4, which means Trump has like a 37% lead on DeSantis. In the average, Pence at 5.6, Nikki Haley at 4.3, Ramaswamy at 3.6, and Tim Scott 1.8. So, and Karl Rove, see, this is you got to pay attention to Karl Rove. Whatever Karl Rove says, the opposite is true. And Karl Rove is telling the Trump people through interviews what he should be doing. Whatever Karl Rove says Trump should do, he should do the opposite, would be my advice. I don't know how, not that Trump needs my advice. Yeah, but listen to this. Karl Rove said Trump should not go out beating the drum about how far ahead of DeSantis he is in the polls. He says the polls are going to tighten once voters find out more about the other candidates. We already know about all these candidates.
It'll get tightened from where it is now.
And then he talks about, exactly, then he talks about how Hillary and Newt were ahead in the polls at this time in the Democrat race, and look how it turned out for them. Well, Hillary got the nomination, and Newt didn't, but so what? I mean, this is a whole nother thing. None of them were president. And then he throws this thing in. They're running this, and remember, Karl Rove, the reason I looked at Karl Rove is because he's working, I know it's not official and it's on the down low, but Karl Rove is working for the DeSantis campaign. He slipped about 3 or 4 weeks ago. He referred to the DeSantis campaign as our campaign. He was talking to Dana Perino. So that was a confession on live TV. And so the reason I pay attention to Karl Rove is because since he's the top political advisor in the DeSantis camp, this is what DeSantis is telling himself, whatever Karl Rove says, right? So it's worth listening to Karl Rove to get inside the mind of DeSantis. Exactly. DeSantis. So this is what Karl Rove says. He says, for the last 32 years, the U.S. has been governed by men from the baby boomer generation. He highlighted Biden's age and Trump's age. There's a great deal of dissatisfaction with the notion that the best America can do is to nominate a 78-year-old, that would be Trump, and an 82-year-old for the toughest job in the world. Well, first of all, President Trump at 78 is in better shape physically and mentally than I am, and most guys I know. I mean, he's not, he's so successful because he's not a normal person. He is an extraordinary person, almost like a superhero. Then he says, this is Karl Rove, that takes it's the toughest job in the world. That takes a lot out of anybody that has it. He says, look at the photos of these men when they came into office and look at a photo when they left. Bush, Clinton, Obama, they've changed. Donald Trump actually looks younger after his first term than when he was in office. And if you see him lately, he looks younger. He looks healthier. All the other ones look like hell. I give you that. But not Trump. It's an opposite effect with President Trump. In my view, I mean, you guys, but anyway, I only share this because this ageism thing that Karl Rove is recommending, this is not a good campaign strategy. I like someone who's older because they're wiser, they have more experience, they have more life experience, they've encountered more and things like this. The younger someone, I mean, look at the decisions DeSantis has made. He got all giddy about the grand jury thing with Trump in New York. He blew it with that. He blew it with Disney. He makes a lot of these mistakes because he's young, arrogant, and not too sharp. He doesn't have a lot of experience in these things.
A phrase that we use, bad choices.
That's right. Every choice he's made in the last 2 or 3 months has been bad. I haven't seen him make one right decision. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The
All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Yeah, metals looking very stable after yesterday's test of, again, the 1950s area, bouncing off $1,954 and running up to $1,978, closing out the day up $3.90 at $1,975.70. Silver closed out the day down 20 cents at $23.42 the ounce, while platinum was down $16 at $1,052, and palladium lost $37 at $1,425. The barometer is that you're seeing gold rally and continue to rally, even amidst a strong dollar, while the other commodities are edging lower, is the barometer of the fear factor in the markets today. And there's a lot of fear out there concerning a lot of economic and political and government issues. So there's a lot of reason to own gold to protect your portfolio. Gold up another $6.30 this morning at $1,982 the ounce. Silver unchanged at $23.42. Platinum down $7 at $1,045. And palladium down $25 at $1,400 the ounce. And that's pretty much where we're starting this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And William Youngerman, of course, opens up at 10 a.m. He's located on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road in Boca. You can find him online at williamyoungerman.com or give him a call, toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. Okay, so just to finish up, Steve, with the Karl Rove thing. So Karl Rove's advice is that Donald Trump shouldn't respond to DeSantis. He should just write it out because he's so far ahead. I mean, give me a break. That means that Trump should do the opposite. And I went to Trump's Truth Social, and he's talking about DeSantis already this morning. Okay, so you want to go through some of this? Because he's calling. Okay, this is... No. This is good stuff. And he's right on the money. And, you know, one of the things that Ron DeSantis does not understand is that he's been given a completely free ride by the press. He's not been challenged by anyone or anything, really. So here's one comment. This is President Trump on Truth Social this morning. Ron DeSantis can't win the general election or get the nomination. That is true. I mean, he's 28 points behind Trump in Florida among Republicans. If he can't win Florida, and he's the sitting governor who was just reelected, he can't win anything. But Trump says he can't win the general election or get the nomination because DeSantis voted to obliterate Social Security, even wanting to raise the minimum age to 70 or higher. That is true. When he was in the House, he wanted to raise the minimum age of Social Security to 70 and above. So that's true. And I know.
Just thinking.
I know Social Security may not be the most exciting issue, but in states like Florida, where we have a large senior population or people about to reach that age, that's a pretty big deal, and it worries people. And that is a bigger issue than you realize. He voted badly to wound Medicare. He fought hard and voted for a 23% tax on everything. You know, when they were talking about just having like a flat sales tax to cover everything, can you imagine if there was a 23% sales tax on everything? Every time you spend $100, you got to give the government 23? That's crazy. He voted for. These are things I did not know about Ron DeSantis, but luckily President Trump knows them all and shares them with us. DeSantis was and is a disciple of horrible rhino Paul Ryan. Well, that's true. And I can't remember who said this in an interview last week. Might have been Marjorie Taylor Greene. I can't remember who said this. They said that DeSantis is terrified of Paul Ryan, which is very strange because he's no longer in office, Paul Ryan. And I know he was in Congress with Paul Ryan as Speaker, but those days are long gone. But anyway, Trump says he was and is a disciple of horrible rhino Paul Ryan and others too many to mention. DeSantis desperately needs a personality transplant, and to the best of my knowledge, they are not medically available yet. Plus, he's a very disloyal person. Now, that's true, because he is disloyal. He's betrayed Trump, and he lied to us in Florida. So then Trump went on. Trump's on a roll here talking about DeSantis. Here's the next post. This is on Truth Social, by the way, President Trump. He calls him Rob here. I don't know why. But anyway, Rob DeSanctimonious came to me asking for help. He was losing badly by 31 points to popular agricultural commissioner Adam Putnam. He was getting ready to drop out of the race. He ran a terrible campaign. Ron told me he had one last chance, my support and endorsement, which Putnam and everyone else wanted also. I gave it to Ron, and the race was over. And one day, he went from losing badly to winning by a lot. With 3 large Trump rallies, he won the general election in an upset. Then he wrote, disloyal, with a bunch of exclamation marks after. You know, that's another thing, too, that I think is pretty important. You know, among Republicans, we're not Democrats. Democrats, you know, they don't have much of a moral code. Republicans don't like liars and dishonest, disloyal people. There's something to be said about loyalty, you know. And the thing about DeSantis that I think really bugs a lot of people. I mean, here in Florida, I'm bothered because he lied to us. He's our governor, you know. And we didn't know this about him until the Bragg stuff. But, you know, this I really hope he stays in it till the first debate, because Trump is going to go after him like no one's business. I don't care if they have Stormy Daniels and E. Jean Carroll sitting in the front row. It's not going to be a speed bump to Trump. And he's going to plow right over DeSantis. And if you guys go online, go and watch the debates between Ron DeSantis and Charlie Crist, and watch the ones between with Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum. He got his clocked cleaned by these 2 weirdos.
The Christie debate.
With Trump? Oh, yeah.
Good. And he's detestable. The other thing is he's arrogant. And
he's a thug. He's a thug.
Against Trump.
Well, the way Trump does it, because in 2020 there was no challenge, so there were no Republican debates. So we got to go back to 2016. He always chooses the front runner, and he directs everything to the front runner until he knocks him out, and then whoever is the front runner in the next debate. So Chris Christie may get a bit of a pass, maybe a warning shot across the bow or something.
Chris Christie's going to get aggressive real quick.
Mm.
Don may have to take a little detour to polish him up.
Well, this is the thing, okay? With all these people that are, except Tim Scott's different, but the rest of them, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but the rest of them, okay, they hate Trump like the plague, right? They hate him. And that means they're angry at Trump. They're all angry at Trump. Chris Christie, really angry, but they're all angry, including DeSantis, all this stuff, you know. When you go into a debate, a sure way to lose it, even if you're highly skilled, is to be angry. You know, like with even, you know, here on the air, I know it's been a while, and I don't remember the last time it happened, but any time that I felt like I didn't look good dealing with a caller or a guest on the show was when I was angry about something, or the person got under my skin. You know, and when you lose your cool and you're angry, it has an effect on your mind that's a lot like being intoxicated. And even a highly skilled debater will lose a debate if they're angry at the person they're debating, because you lose control and you're not thinking, you get the tunnel vision. And what's going to happen in these debates, they're all, Christie, DeSantis, I don't know who's all going to be, they're all going to be so enraged at Trump. And they've had all these people whispering in their ears. And I don't like to talk about wives. I'm not going to say too much about it other than DeSantis's biggest problem is his wife, because she's whispering in his ear. She's whispering in his ear about being first lady and him being president and all this stuff. And once, you know, and wives, Steve, you know, you've told me of examples in private, you know, that wives get people that are successful businessmen make terrible mistakes because they got the wife in the ear, you know, and she wants to be first lady more than Jill Biden. And yeah, exactly. And she's got him so worked up. Plus, since Jeb's with him, I know they got Jeb's wife working on DeSantis's wife, right? And then he's got these hangers-on like Jeb, and then, and so they get worked up, and then boom, they go into the debate, and they lose their cool, and it's over, and it's going to be pretty brutal. And I'm predicting that DeSantis is going to come off like Caitlin Collins from CNN at the end of the first debate, when it's over, And what Trump typically does is humor. He makes you a mockery. Yep, when people are laughing at you, that's not a good thing. But he doesn't come out on the attack. If you go back to these Trump things, he waits until the opportunity, and then boom, he pounces back, and then it's over. And the problem they have with DeSantis is he's not a good debater. Like I said, go look at those other debates. He's weak. So he's doing prep with people that hate Trump, and their image of Trump is this negative stereotype of Trump. They think he's an idiot. They think he's this. They think he's that. So the debate prep that they do with DeSantis is going to fail, one, because he's no good at debates, and two, he's debating a stereotype, right, in the rehearsals. Trump's unpredictable. I mean, I think I'm pretty good at debating. You're pretty good at debating. I don't know if I'd be too good going up against Donald Trump, because he knows. And if you go back and watch the debates, or even some of these interviews, he knows how to pick something from someone that's a sore spot. And that's what and the reason he does that is they lose control and they lose their cool.
Work in the debate. He reminds me so much of Joe Pine.
Yeah.
He's got all Joe's techniques down cold, and I've never, short of Joe Pine, I've never seen anyone else that had that talent.
Well, and when it gets to the point of ridicule, which it will, with DeSantis, it's going to be over for him. But I'll tell you guys, go later today and watch those debates with Gillum and Charlie Crist with DeSantis. They only debate once each, and there are 50 minutes probably, right, without commercials. They're probably 45 minutes to an hour, and you'll see. He just never has a good response. He doesn't think quickly on his feet. This video that came out that Casey DeSantis released, have you seen it, Steve, of him walking out on stage from backstage DeSantis? It's so weird and awkward. And you see DeSantis like walking backstage out to a big stage to be greeted by a bunch of people with the Mary. He's insecure. And he should be. I'd be scared. If I was facing Donald Trump, I'd be scared. I'd be scared. If I was an opponent of his and I was going to be on national television going up against him all the time and he's responding in real time.
Cue from the run-up here, watching DeSantis put it off and put it off.
Yeah.
It's like he wants to get in there, but then he looks across the ring and he sees what's waiting for him.
That's right.
And he panics and he says, well, maybe next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the sense that I get watching it. I don't know. Interesting to see if the listeners picked it.
And the way that he's launching it today with Elon Musk is not good. It's weak.
Eddie.
That's right. He needs a wingman, is what he needs, because he's going to be taking questions, but the questions are going to be handled by Elon Musk, and they're not random questions. He may get some tough questions in this, but they're not going to be that tough. You know what I mean? They're going to be like fake tough. They're going to be pulling some punches. It's a very, very controlled situation. If he wanted to do it right, he would come right here in this radio studio and take questions from our listeners on the phone and screenless. That would be beautiful. Do you think that'd be okay? Could we invite Governor DeSantis in here to take screenless questions from our callers, Steve?
Right.
That's right. So, Governor, if you're listening, and that would be beautiful. We would just screenless. People could call in. Typically, what happens though, like I remember when we had Bob Coy filling in, Steve. Bob Coy was, the pastor of Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale at the time, And basically it was liberals trying to tell Bob Coy every sin that they knew of that you and I had ever committed. You know, that was so we might get some callers trying to rat us out to the governor, but I think, and by the way, we'll hold that. I don't think Trump would be worried. President Trump, he lives right down the street. He could come over here any morning and take calls live from our listeners. I don't think he would be fearful of it. All right, listen, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back tomorrow, and of course tomorrow will be the aftermath of the Ron DeSantis announcement with Elon Musk tonight, which is at 6 on the Twitter Spaces thing. How stupid. But we'll be talking about it tomorrow. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. God bless America. And, of course, God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow.
WWNN Pompano Beach. WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
Hey, guys. I'll see you later. Take care.